All right. How's it looking, y'all? I just restarted. I just disconnected my Wi-Fi.
You paid the bill.
I paid the bill. I called the phone. I called Comcast. I was like, "Yo, show me some respect. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all playing with me." Okay, it looks way better.
Yo,
I think it looks better. I think it
Good
does.
job. Good job.
I think I did it. I don't know. You guys, let me know. I don't know. Can they? I get so confused because the delay is so crazy. Yeah. What's good, everybody? Kyle Hagan fan. What's up, my G? What's good? Are we looking good? Okay, damn. Bump this technology shit. What's up, everybody? Welcome back in.
Take two.
All right, we back in here. We looking good.
Hey,
yeah, we looking good. You think we looking good? All right, we looking good. Sound sounding good.
Smooth like butter. You right?
Smooth like butter. That's what we aim for. Salute everybody that's coming in. Salute Red Pill Pain. What's good with you? What's good, Mr. Woosai? What's good, Menzi? I appreciate that. Smooth like butter. That's what we strive for. All right, we got some people that's coming in. So anyway, that's how you doing. Was it like we live streamed like 2 weeks ago? Was it
something like that? Yeah,
it was like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was there anything from the first live stream that like you learned in that discussion, or like you want to address, or I know it was 2 weeks ago. A lot of shit happened in the meantime.
It did. I think the biggest thing for me is to not keep up with you, and in order for my thoughts to be coherent towards the end of the live, start drinking water sooner.
Well, listen, we got water on deck. We got the
deck.
Dasani just in case, but we also got the potent power down there. We got the pocket rocket down there just in case. You know what I mean? Well, good. I hated the fact that it looked like we were on an iPhone 2 recording footage. Welcome to everybody that's coming back in the room. We're gonna have a fantastic discussion for you guys today. Sean Bills, I see you. Salud, John Nothing. What's good? Red Lip Talk. Sup MTR. Salud. Des Photography. Looking wavy. Des Photography.
I appreciate you.
Looking wavy.
I appreciate it, man.
Looking wavy. All right, guys. So listen, you ready to get into the discussion?
Let's get it.
We want to talk about Gayle King first.
Yeah,
so guys, I think like a good way to introduce this so we all level set. I'm sure we all kind of heard of the news. Let's first watch the clip. It's a CNN news clip of kind of what's been transpiring. So let me share that screen. Let me click over. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out.
I am mortified, I'm embarrassed, and I am very angry.
May I say she is not doing well.
I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, with the cases, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify. So it was dismissed.
Gayle King, out of pocket for that. We expect more from you, Gayle.
because she has now death threats and has to now travel with security. And she's feeling very much attacked.
Unbeknownst to me, my network put up a clip from a very wide-ranging interview, totally taken out of context. And when you see it that way, it's very jarring. It's jarring to me. I didn't even know anything about it. For the network to take the most salacious part when taken out of context and put it up online for people who didn't see the whole interview is very upsetting to me, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with them. And there will be a very intense discussion about that.
All right. So let's come back in it. I don't want to hear about coronavirus. All right, let's come back in it. All right. So we're all caught up now. I think everyone in the chat, and welcome to everybody that's coming in. Let's have a discussion about it. I uploaded a video not too long ago talking about my feelings towards the Kobe situation. And, it's one of those things, when earlier we were talking about kind of the purpose and the meaning of life. And, even as you was coming over here, you were telling me that you saw someone that recently got hit by a car up on the street that I walk on every day. And, I just think like, when you consider this thing called life that we're all living in and, trying to aspire the best that we can be going forward and into the future, it is one of those things that you have to be appreciative of what life is each and every day, because it could end today. It could end today. It could, unbeknownst to you. And for Kobe, it ended that day. And the media typically has a small waiting period before they start sifting into the past and bringing up and highlighting things for media clicks. Or however, I think even before Gayle started to do this, there was news stories that were coming out that people were talking about his sexual assault that happened back in 2003, 2004. But it wasn't till someone of the same skin color that did it, that it riled so much stir from folks. So just starting off, I want to get your initial reactions based off of Gayle's comments. Des, like, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like it was appropriate to bring up that type of conversation? And if not, explain why you think, why not?
So, you mentioned other news sources or outlets had kind of made similar headlines or storylines around the same narrative. And it wasn't until some of the same skin color. I'm not going to lie. Black, white, purple, polka dot, it was tacky. I have a hard time understanding the relevance of that narrative at this time. Like the family hasn't even had an opportunity to have him or their daughter's going away service. It's still very fresh, and I'm not very sure what we're getting from that discussion, that conversation this soon.
Yeah. Especially
when you have a man who, one, without going into the politics of those types, like sexual assault cases.
Yeah.
The politics around that aside, they went to trial, the case was dismissed, and Kobe seemed to be very intentional about turning his life around.
Right.
Like this second half of his life was very positive, very kind of purpose-filled, very very intentional around giving back, being a good steward of his time, resources, knowledge. So And I love Gayle. I love Gayle. I love Auntie O. Like, I love them both. I was just very. It was challenging to hear the discussion because, you know, even she mentioned, oh, well, if you hear it in the context of the broader interview, no, like,
Yeah.
she was probing. She was
Mhm.
kind of trying to dig up some soil, and I had a hard time understanding and accepting that. It was ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Even if they say it was out of context, like even if it's an hour interview, and it still doesn't make sense to me why it's something that would happen, especially because Gayle is supposed to be in support of those that look like her, right? And highlighting these stories in a way like, you know, but like, you know, there's a lot of people who, you know, in the face of all that money is going to put a lot of the rationale aside in order to do their job, irrespective of the integrity within that. My thing is like, here's my thing. You hear like a lot of these stars that go through the sexual assault, this, that, and the third, and they play this no consent game. And there's a lot of dudes who get caught up in this thing. And as a dude who has experience, I don't know if you noticed, but earlier this week, I uploaded a video where I talked through someone who falsely accused me of domestic violence, of hitting her, choking her. And I don't know if you've seen that video, or I don't know if I've ever told you
We've
that
talked
story.
about it.
Okay, I told you that story. So, like, the thing is when you're a public figure like that, and you have someone's word versus yours, and knowing and understanding all of these people around him that are saying that he's not that type of dude, I think he was married, he had a groupie, she changed her mind, maybe liquor was involved, and whether or not the choice of or the option of whether it was consensual or not, which I think is a whole nother argument that we have to talk about, because there's certain, like, on certain college campuses that say if anyone is inebriated, it's not consensual.
Correct.
And this is the thing, is like, when it comes to sex, how are you not letting the people that are participating in drinking alcohol, all of a sudden they have a case that they can take to court, but when they're drinking and driving, you're still guilty? That's my thing, is like, we're not being consistent. But regardless, there's a lot of stars that look like us that have made mistakes based off of their situations. And my heart of hearts, knowing and understanding like how he's viewed in the limelight, it was one of those mistakes. Not to mention, it was 15 years ago. It was 15 years ago. He was a different human being, and his life was taken from him in one fell swoop, with his daughter and 7 other people that were involved with it. So to bring it up at that moment with someone who was close to him 2 weeks after it happened, irrespective of the time that it was, or your relationship towards him, or the context of the video and how much of the minute that you focus on that versus the other 59 minutes, is wrong.
It was tasteless.
Tasteless.
Now, you know, when you think of the broader conversation of stars or celebrities that have either timely or untimely passing, where do you think that piece of their legacy or that piece of their story fits into their overall legacy? So, you know, I tried to look at it. I tried to take a step back because, you know, this is still very fresh. Kobe's passing has impacted us all, you know, in various ways. And I took it very hard. Like, I took it extremely hard that whole day.
And you played ball.
I did.
Yeah.
That entire day, that entire week, I was just on the phone with my teammates, other basketball community folks, and just like really feeling it heavy. Because I wasn't a huge Kobe fan. I respected his game, but I loved him more in retirement and seeing his interactions with his daughter, the young girls. Like, I loved the attention he was bringing to the WNBA and like women's sports in general. So like, I was really enjoying him getting into this retirement bag.
Yeah.
So, I knew I was going to take the comments that Gayle had or the probing of Lisa Leslie. Shout out to my girl Lisa, because you handled it like a champ. She handled it like a pro.
Like a G.
Just really did a good job of kind of snipping that in the bud. But when I took a step back and I really tried to kind of think through, when is that, we all have skeletons in the closet, or, whatever they call bumps under the rug. When is it appropriate to discuss that when you're thinking of someone's legacy?
You know what? And that your question mixed with see Alex B writing on the screen. I got a homie that said it's insensitive to rape victims to not bring up the case with Kobe Bryant's legacy. I'm like, okay, he's dead now. What does bringing it up solve right now? Maybe I'm tripping. I think that your question mixed with that question. So here's the thing: is that knowing that it happened 2 weeks ago, and knowing the what he was teaching, what he taught us, hashtag Mamba mentality. And I'm not even a sports fan like that. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even things that I was thinking through how to live my life in this constant excel, or these championship goals and values, right? And knowing and understanding, not even being a sports fan, that he was about that, I felt akin to that, right? So I think that irrespective of if he did it, if he didn't do it, it was still too soon. And then what's the purpose?
Right, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Because the purpose to me is for clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's for eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
It's for
right.
Oh,
how could she say that?
Oh yeah, how right. So that's the reason why her was it NBC? Who was it that actually put it up there?
I can't.
Who does she work for? Right. So like there's for clicks, there's for likes, and
Mm-hmm.
and she could have been a sacrificial lamb,
Mm-hmm.
right? She could have been a sacrificial lamb because she brought it up in a second or a couple of minutes in an hour long interview. At the same time, I still think she's part to blame, right? Because she needs to have a little bit of chill and a little bit of respect when it comes to our folks, our people, our culture.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, they're probably looking at the clip like, okay, this of this whole shit,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to get the most clicks?
And honestly, as I read through Alex's comment, like, I don't even agree with that it's insensitive to rape victims. Okay, if we were talking about someone who is convicted of rape, sure.
This different.
It's different. Like, and as a woman, like, I 100% stand behind women in sexual assault cases, but there have been too many cases, especially with Black men being falsely accused by white victims, or, falsely accused by victims in general, that I can't support that comment. I can't agree to that comment that is insensitive to all rape victims. This man, for all we know, is innocent.
Yeah, and that's an exact. You nailed it. It's if he was convicted, it's different than what happened and ended up being settled out of court. She didn't want to testify for whatever reason. Maybe she didn't want to testify because he offered her a bag to stop. Maybe, I don't know. I just know that like people can make people can make mistakes. And when you're put in a position of power, like the video that I uploaded earlier this week, let's say I had Kobe Bryant money. Let's say I had Kobe Bryant money and that exact same situation happened. It would have been a different outcome. In my opinion, she would have used her privilege in the situation to ascertain wealth from me. Okay. And I got more videos for you guys to come. So make sure if you guys are coming into the channel and you're not subscribed, hit that goddamn alert button. Because I got another story as well. Very similar to the first story that I told you. And my thing is I am not a star. I am not super duper wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. But at the same time, like, imagine, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is like, oh, hold on real quick. Let me show some love and respect. Jason Sanon, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Gayle can win me back if she talks about Charlie Rose.
Who's Charlie Rose?
Let's get a quick Googling done. Let me see.
Jason put us up on game now.
Charlie Rose. Let's see what's going on. Let me share. I can share screen in the middle of this so we can all see kind of what's going on. Charlie Rose. Charlie Rose, born 1942, American television journalist and former talk show host from 1901, 1997. Anchor of CBS in the Morning. His face looks mad familiar. I feel like he went out because of some sexual. Yep. Washington Post published in-house allegations of sexual harassment. Rose was sued for verbal harassment by Gina, former makeup artist of 20 years. Oh, right. Yeah, he was on the show for years.
But and that's another thing. Like, they pick and choose whose legacy they want to tarnish.
And that's like, it's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame, Des.
It is.
It's a goddamn shame. I can't explain it. I don't have any answers for it. Gayle, you are wrong.
Wrong.
You are wrong. However,
However what?
how'd you feel about Snoop's response?
You know, Uncle Snoop, he's gotten sensitive in his old age, so I know his emotions were stirred.
His emotions were stirred.
Yeah, so I was rolling when he was like, Gayle, you're wrong, because Gayle was wrong.
Yeah.
I found it problematic, and let me back up a little bit, because I won't even front. First listen through, I said, yeah, Uncle Snoop, you're right. Call out a name and everything, because I'm with you. I'm feeling the same emotions.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was on the gram, and what's his name? Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah.
He posted a very interesting thread of his tweets, and he was saying how he shouted out. He said, "Shout out to all the girl dads out there who are trying to justify Snoop calling Gayle a dog-faced B."
Yeah.
And so I got to thinking. I was like, well, damn. I guess I can't really sit here and fully support his comments because,
I never played a day of organized football.
Hold on.
Oh, what you got going on here?
No, I was trying to
you want to pull up okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because, although I agree with his sentiments, Mark was right in that we can't resort to calling women out of their names just because we don't agree with something they're doing. Like, we can be critical without being derogatory in that manner.
Let's bring up what Uncle Snoop said just real quick. Let me stop screen. Let me share screen. Chrome tab. Snoop Dogg. Gayle King.
Gayle King. Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the fucking worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming after fucking Harvey Weinstein asking them dumbass questions. I get sick of y'all. I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call him one? Funky dog head bitch. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you. Gayle King.
Boosie.
What would you ask for shit?
All right, we're gonna get into Boosie here in a second. How you felt about? Wait, hold on. Let me acknowledge some of these super chats and then let's get back in it. Sean Bills, my J, Patreon supporter. Oprah is close friends with Weinstein. Silent as fuck. Did Oprah really not say shit after the whole Silent.
And really, again, and I know they don't like to be called auntie. I don't care, y'all old. And I being from the South, I respect my elderly, my ladies of a certain seasoned. Certain portion of their life. So I use it as a term of respect. But yes, both Auntie O and Gayle have problematic silence when it comes to these white men in similar situations. Like, their legacy, we are very silent, and silence can sometimes be interpreted as acceptance. When it comes to their legacy, we let them live their life. We don't comment too much. We don't drag them through the mud. But in the cases of our legends, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor.
R. Kelly? Is R. Kelly in there?
Nah.
I'm about to say, because Gayle did R. No, that's too far.
Yeah, that's too far. That's too far. Robert is not included under this
He not,
umbrella.
yeah.
No, but their silence is extremely interesting, and I think it's very problematic.
Mm.
I understand that there are certain gatekeepers in that world, in that Hollywood world, but their silence is speaking volumes.
So what do you feel about Kyle's comment? Kyle, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hold on, let me get the soundboard popping. Salud, Kyle. Recent subscriber to the channel. Salud, my G. Welcome. It's more of a man and woman thing than a black and white thing.
Nah, Kyle, I'm not rolling. It's not. It's not. So what? Tell me how you interpret that statement. It's more.
Well, all the ones that you named were men. Bill Cosby, Weinstein,
so is he
Kobe. So what he's saying is that it's more of a black and white, but of all the people that I'm naming, they have not gone in on Weinstein. They have not gone in on who's this? Charlie Rose. Like, but they have gone in on Bill Cosby, probably deservingly though,
right,
but like but R. Kelly,
right,
deservingly. So, but Kobe Bryant, undeservingly, in my opinion. So just off the names that that seems to be race related. That
right.
Seems to be
so
race
that's
related.
not what Kyle is saying.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know. So Kyle, how do you feel about that? Write something down there, bro. I want to hear a response to that. Let me see. Rebel Zoe 1804. Thank you for the $2 super chat, my G. The way Vanessa Bryant handling this, she the MVP. Absolutely. I actually haven't heard much from her, right? Didn't she?
I mean, Rebel, I think we have to keep in mind that there is likely her like their team. There's been a few posts on social media, very well written and very touching and endearing, very open to the public. I believe before this happened, her page was actually private. So since Kobe's passing, she's opened it to the public. But I honestly think that's just a team. So she's probably on the floor somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, they've been together since they were 17. That woman is not okay. Without a doubt. So I think their team is doing an excellent job, and what's it called? PRing the situation.
Yeah, PRing.
But I
couldn't
don't
even
think
imagine.
that it's okay.
I couldn't even imagine.
Not at all.
I mean, personally for me, I have a small family, guys, like super small family. You guys already know, I talk about this from time to time, but earlier this year I had someone who died relatively close to me. Wasn't in my family, but it fucked me up. It really messed me up. And understanding how much full of life and bright that person was, and then literally went to sleep, woke up, his wife left, went to another room, came back in like, yo, let's go work out. Touched his hand and it was cold.
You lying.
And that was it. And when I tell you, his funeral was filled with thousands of people because of all the lives that he touched, right? Thousands. And this is not a popular popping, but had the ability to touch so many different lives from what he's touched my life. You see what I'm saying? So like, when you think about, the kind of gravity of what a Kobe Bryant was on top of that, but then to know, that his loved ones still have to deal with that. Like, I don't know. Like, but shout out to the PR because it's helping them to get through that as well. Cause it takes a team in order to raise that forward. Diego Magellan, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, my G. The rape Colorado incident was a part of his history. His actions and accomplishments since then are his legacy. What Gayle, CBS, did was to use a footnote of his history to tarnish his legacy. Yeah, and that's the thing, is at the point that they accuse, all of a sudden it's a part of your history. Like, bump what was the decision, bump what was the outcome at the point of the accusation. It's a part of your history now. And that's the bullshit power that is given to those in that position. And it sucks. So it's like, well, what can we do? And here's what it is. Here's the problem is when you're a star that's in that middle ground, you know, like, you know, you're still living life normally, but then shit changes when you ascertain a certain amount of wealth and fame.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, you know, he was still young in his basketball career. So he was there for a while, still moving and shaking. But like, this is probably also a wake up call for him. You know, like, oh, okay, that's what they can do to me at that time. You know what I'm saying? So
you can't trust these hoes.
you can't trust these hoes.
You gotta be careful.
You gotta be careful out here. You know what I mean? Salud, Diego. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Oh, open the phone line at some point. I'll explain too much to make a point in 100 characters. Should I open the phone line?
Later.
All right, we're gonna figure it out in a little bit. You got time tonight? What's up?
I think I got a little bit of time.
You got a little bit of time.
I'll roll with you.
You gonna roll with us? I think that they appreciate you. So
I enjoy y'all.
It's fun up here.
We might not always agree, but you guys at least come with some valid argument points.
All right, so Kyle, stay tuned. Let me drop it down here just so you guys know the email. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. I'll let that circumvent for a little while. So we'll maybe, let's say 50% will maybe open up the lines later. It's just depending upon how we're feeling and how we'll go. But thank you, Kyle, so much for the $5 super chat. Let me go up. Oh, you guys are active in the chat right now. My bad. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. It's so hard to keep up with y'all from time to time. Oh yeah, we went over that one. Be a lesson, Holden. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my G. This is another example of black feminists continuing to uphold white supremacy.
I mean, I think that's a tough statement.
So the only part that you don't agree with is the feminists in there?
The black feminists.
So what if it was if he said black women continue to hold up white supremacy?
I would disagree as well.
Okay,
I think we need to maybe nuance with like the super wealthy, like people who are influenced by that big overlaying or overhanging power behind the curtain. I think this is more so of a status class kind of thing. This is not your normal average Joes who are trying to uphold this white supremacy. I think it's about certain people or not influencers, like black women. And I don't even know if I'd agree to this, but if I'm going along with your school of thought, this would be black women who have reached this level of affluence in this world in terms of like the Hollywood entertainment industry. And then it would appear as if their silence and then their comments around our black legends would be upholding white supremacy. But that's now that I kind of thought through it, that's interesting.
Yeah. Now I think the more that you talked about it is the more that you question it. You know what I mean?
But I think it's again at that highest level of like wealth industry. Because like when you're not in the industry, it doesn't really impact you as much. But I guess you kind of have to be a puppet in a sense to continue for them to continue to open doors for you because there are gatekeepers at that level. You might be on something, BLS.
Yeah, there it is. You know, this is why I appreciate talking with you with content like this, because I think that as I read that, to me, it felt more true than not. And when you first said it, you didn't agree with it. But I feel like as you started to talk through it, you came to an understanding that maybe it is a little bit more true than what you previously thought. I
still disagree with the black feminists. I think it's still more so about wealth, money, and power.
Got it. So you think like irrespective of the race. So let's say if Gayle was white, do you think the same conversation would have happened?
Yes.
With CBS?
Yes. They used
That's
her
a good point.
I think kind of like you said, they used her as a sacrificial lamb. Someone had to do it.
Sacrificial, but because she's black, it was going to get more clicks because people were doing that before Gayle did it.
Yeah. But
they weren't black. So they used her as a pawn at that very moment to betray something. And the thing is like, do I think that I feel like this degree of like martyr, like not known to her, like they martyred her for, you know, a little bit. So, cause like, I don't think that she's a complete and utter shit. I think that she got a little bit ahead of herself. Someone told her to do something. Maybe she didn't fight back. You know, but there's often times when, you know, these companies, they put you in positions and maybe you just don't have the wherewithal at that time to kind of fight back. And the thing is, guys, is like, I edit videos. I can make any of my guests look like shit on video through editing. I absolutely can. I absolutely can. It's a lot easier than what you guys think. So do you think that there's a degree in there where she might have a little bit of vindication because the full tape is not released?
No, like I'm honestly struggling to understand how she feels like anything was taken out of context. Like, and she, you know, I think she's a very intelligent woman, but she has to be the fool to think that people wouldn't have feedback or she wouldn't receive backlash. Like, yeah, the probing she did. So I'm assuming that, you know, those type of interviews have like certain Q questions or what have you, but that probing seemed like her freestyle. It seemed like, you know, what she added to the conversation, and it was inappropriate.
All right, so I'm gonna go through the rest of the super chats, and we're gonna touch back on Snoop's response to it. Diego Magellan, thank you again for the $10 super chat, my G. I gotta come up to the mic when, you know. This is not the first time she's been hit. She's been the hit man to tarnish a black man's reputation. To my mind, the backlash is more than well-deserved and was coming, Oprah included. You know, Oprah has that whole Russell Simmons expose that's coming out. Have you heard about that?
I've heard about it in passing, but I'm not exactly sure what content she's going to be releasing.
Again, it's about some sexual assault shit that, you know, it's such a weird, it's a weird thing. Like, even, you know, my simple ass, situations that I've been in where it's been like questionable for whatever reason. And I am not a creep. I'm not a weirdo. It's just, you know, if you go on these these left-leaning colleges, universities, they will convince you after a situation happened a year ago that you were raped. And I see a goddamn problem with that. I think the definition of what is consensual sex has evolved to the detriment of men over the last half decade, probably the last decade. That is really scary.
But you know what? It's probably because of creeps. It, like, unfortunately, the whole of you guys, including the good guys, are having to take the fall for creeps who actually did these bad things or heinous things.
Okay.
Like, these definitions aren't coming out of nowhere. Someone did it at some point in time. And so to kind of blanket, like, cover their ass, they're like, okay, this is this is that. I'm sure they've done various like focus groups to kind of investigate certain dynamics and certain situations, because even when I had to go through, it might have been coaches training, like you have to go through various like sexual assault training, the different parameters of different situations you can and cannot be in with certain minors, and they go through what classifies as rape and the various definitions. And I was like, well, shit. This is interesting. And kind of like you said, it's a little jarring now because I've been in certain situations that they've defined as rape, but I was rolling. Like, I was fine. I was good. But I guess, again, to my point, at some point, I'm assuming there was a predator that preyed on and utilized these situations to their benefit. And men as a whole right now are suffering.
That's a fair point.
You fellas need to be careful.
We gotta be goddamn careful.
You have to be careful.
We gotta be goddamn careful. It's almost like you gotta go through a gauntlet of vet checks.
Yeah.
Right. Like you gotta be completely and utterly vetted, right? Before I take that risk with you. Right. Like that's just what it happens. I mean, like, you know, it could be something as simple as, I live real close to all these bars down here. So I could go down there, meet a girl, take her back to my crib, but because she was drinking and I was drinking, and she might wake up in the morning and then we were coherently talking to each other, but she might wake up in the morning like, where am I? That is a real thing.
Mhm.
That happens. So it's like, well, what are the things that you have to do to understand that that's a possibility? You can't predict the future, but you can decrease the risk of certain outcomes happening. That's what the Kobe situation taught me.
It was funny. Working Moms had a little clip in one of their episodes, and the guy, he's dating this new woman, and he's in a mommy and me class. So the ladies were trying to give him some advice, and they're like, make sure she consents.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the date, he's like, oh, can I kiss you? Like, oh, can I touch you? And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I want to make sure I have consent.
Oh God!
Like they took it to the extreme, but like you almost have to do that. Make sure they're 100% comfortable. Because even when you remember when that Indian comedian, I can't remember his name.
Aziz Ansari.
Yes, he was in a situation that he thought was consensual, but the girl was like, no. So like even when
she was so stupid. She was so, like, if you read the whole letter, you're like
didn't she like sleep with him because she was uncomfortable with like giving him hit? I don't remember the situation, but like
it was so gross.
You guys have to be careful,
and it's so scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And ladies, be careful too.
I don't know what's happening in the chat right now, but I see Yada Boo. What's up? Listen, I know.
Hey sis, y'all got the ladies in the house tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Anytime I see a lady in the chat, I'm like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing here? Let's have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing what's going on. No, it's not. In fact, I'll post it in the comments. I don't know what y'all talking about, but let me know what's going on in there. Lisa, let's see a real, she a real one. You went over there. Rebel Zoe, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, my G. Let's keep on going down. Kyle Harold again, thank you for the $2 super chat, my G. It's more Democrats and elites than white, black.
In certain situations, Kyle, but white, black is still very real and very intertwined in these very tedious topics and conversations. So like that's kind of where, so his first part, the elite, is kind of where I was going with I can't remember his name, the comment around upholding white supremacy. So like I was having more around the elite, but I think we have to be mindful of the black white dynamic as well. Kyle,
I salute you, my G. Yeah, thank you for the $5 super chat again. White supremacy is deflecting to the wrong problem.
We might need to get you on the line. I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about.
Yeah. We might have to open it up. We have to make a Kyle Harold live stream. You know, let's talk to Kyle.
Kyle, you're intriguing us.
I want to hear what he has to say. Like I feel like he's talking in text bites.
Yeah.
But he has a lot to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, white supremacy is deflecting to the wrong problem. Yeah. So he's saying it's a political problem. Like it might be a Democrat Republican situation. I want to hear his whole explanation around that. I want to hear the whole
oh, y'all going in.
Well, goddamn, Kyle. Thank you for the $5 super chat again. She's saving face. They used her so it wasn't said to be racist to the network.
I'll agree to that.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. It'll be interesting to see in the next couple of days if they distance themselves from her.
That would be shitty though, because they put her up to it.
Well, she distanced herself from them because she said, unbeknownst to me, it was taken out of context, like, so, and then in the clip that we saw earlier, it said that that they had a response to it, that it was in fact taken out of context and it's being handled. You know what I mean? Like, I
would love to see that full video then.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, so do you want to get into goddamn Kyle? Thank you so much again for the $2 super chat. So why doesn't it blanket the other way for men?
What
do you mean blanket? Blanket
tarnish women's legacy because of sexual assault? Interestingly enough, I've never seen that in my life.
There's cases of it, but not at that level of fame.
Right.
There's cases of like, you know, the local school teacher sucked off a 13-year-old in her classroom, you know, like this shit like that happens, but they're not as popping. So like the
Right.
media attention is not on it like that. But there's a difference there. Like there's a difference if you hear a story about a young high schooler getting his knob slobbed on by a hot teacher versus, you know, like, because there's a little bit in there where people will say, well, shit, if I was a 13-year-old, and really not take into the account the mental anguish that a young child might go through that is being raped, right? And make light of it because it's a man's situation. But, you know, if it's a woman's situation, you know, it's not tolerated at all.
But I think that's like an entirely different conversation. So that's why, like, I would say at like a celebrity level, because think about it, a celebrity woman in position of power, I'm sure she has like underlings, interns, all of appropriate age that feel obligated to submit to her advances. So I think it could work both ways. And I think Kyle is onto something.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen that. I've never seen a prominent celebrity female have her legacy tarnished with sexual abuse allegations. I don't know if it's because she didn't have them and they weren't there, or because, like, kind of like you're saying, like it's more prominent with men because, you know, women are capable of the same abuse of power.
Facts. Yeah, if they're up there, then they have the same power to absolutely corrupt. Kyle, send me an email, bro. You saw the email scrolling on the bottom. I think I also included it in the description of the video. Let me know if I didn't. But you saw it scrolling on the bottom. Buggy Fitness. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. My G back in here again. Listen, Buggy, put your website down in there so people can understand. Listen, guys, you see Buggy on the left right there, not looking in shape. Ladies don't like that shit. You see Buggy right there on the right. Ladies like that shit. He's a personal trainer. Oh, he wrote it in his message. See, I was showing you love, bro, even before I even knew what you said. You know what I mean? We show love up here. You know what I mean? If you guys have shit that you're building, send me emails and let me know. Send me emails and let me know. Because at the end of the day, like, whatever platform that I have, and I'll be honest, we were talking about this shit earlier. I don't know how the fuck this shit really started. I'll be honest. But whatever this shit is like, the purpose is we're building communities here. You know, I'm doing live streams, be able to talk to y'all face-to-face, one-on-one, because I bang with y'all. Okay? So we're building communities here, right? However I can help you, let me the goddamn know. Y'all got my email. She was used as a pawn for the network and for the ratings. It's obvious. Salud. I'm thinking the same thing, bro. She knew what the reaction was gonna be. Just back to show support to MTR online training here. He'll take you from shit to fit. Okay? Don't play with him. Don't play with him. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm falling back down at the bottom of the chat, guys. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for rocking with me. I see you guys are going in on the goddamn comments right now. They talking about Amber Heard in this bitch. They talking about Amber Heard. Listen, that whole Johnny Depp thing. Kem. Oh, Kem. So I told you. So like Kem does beats.
Marto, what's happening, player?
What up? So Kem was on when you was on here last time, right? Yeah. So he does beats. I wanted to do like a freestyle Friday. Oh, Saturday. Today's Saturday, right?
Okay. Get in your bag.
So you don't want to freestyle with me?
No, you know I can't freestyle.
What you mean?
No.
Okay, you're not freestyling for us?
No, I'll be your ad lib.
You gonna ad lib? So if I come here, you gonna okay? I might freestyle later. You guys drop a 1 down in the chat if you want me to freestyle at some point tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go on Kem's beat. Kem does beats. He's from Jamaica. He does beats. I listen to his beats. He sent me some, and the shit was popping.
Hey.
But also too, I wanted to get into the response from Uncle Snoop. So he called her a dog-faced bitch as a black woman. How do you internalize how a black man referred to a black woman at a time where he felt disrespected?
Good question. Good question. I'm going to preface this with saying I kind of separate myself from the meaning of certain words. So like bitch does not affect me personally. So like it wasn't super jarring to me. Again, I told you I was rolling until I read Mark's comment or his tweet and kind of got brought back to life and understood how in the broader sense of the conversation that was problematic. I do think we have to grow, and I don't even want to, I speak in terms of the Black community just because I'm in it. But I think just, as humans in general, as males versus females, we have to do a better job, and even between the races, do a better job of being critical of your counterpart without resorting to derogatory language. Like that doesn't make your point any more valid. You know what I'm saying? So like when I think of it in that from that lens, I can understand where it's problematic. When I think of it as just your visceral gut response to a really shitty situation, and I think Snoop and Kobe were cool on some level, like I understand. But again, it also goes into that broader conversation, kind of to your question of Black men versus Black women. I think we have to be more intentional around our dynamic, even when we aren't agreeing, because again, Gayle was completely in the wrong. Snoop was completely, I feel, right in his response and feeling without needing to call her out of her name.
Yeah. So just real quick, let me acknowledge some of these super chats that are coming in. Oh shit, Yoda Darnell. What's good, my G? Thank you so much for the $15 super chat with the thumbs up. Let's take a
looking a little over there. You good?
So ain't no one low over here. Look at it. You can see. Oh, they can't even see.
They can't even. It's opaque.
It's opaque as a motherfucker. My bad. You can see it. Tell him something. Oh, you a liar! You're a cheat and a liar.
He got a little swallow in
Salute. All my G's out there.
Clink, clink, clink.
Blah. I hope you goddamn put it up to the screen when I did it. You motherfuckers. Fucking with y'all. Salute.
Can I click on something?
If genders were switched, the reporter would be slandered and dragged for being a misogynist and contributing to the narrative that Black women rarely receive respect and protection from Black men.
So I think that's kind of where I wanted to go.
Okay.
With the Uncle Snoop comment of, we have to be careful because we want to like continue the narrative or like make sure that Black men and Black women are protecting each other and being mutually respectful to each other. I just thought that comment was interesting because of like just the media lately, even with like the Terry Crews, Gabrielle Union situation of a Black man not being seen to protect or stand with his Black sister. So I think, again, I agreed with Snoop's energy. I think his language or the verbiage could have been a little better, more tactful.
Here's the thing. If you look towards Soup, you look towards an example of, a Black dude, a Black man, he's married, he's got kids, and he's calling another Black woman dog-faced bitch. And I wouldn't respond like that. I think that how unpopular that this might be, I think that there's better ways to handle and conduct yourself. I think Snoop is going to appeal to the emotions of a lot of Black people. But if you out on the street and you call another chick a dog-faced bitch and you a dude without the proper context, another dude might see that as an act of war because you're disrespecting those that look like us. For example.
Agreed.
I wouldn't have gotten down there, in my opinion,
No.
I understand where he's coming from, but like I think that there's better ways to talk about a situation where you can open up the phone lines, you can open up the lines of communications so that both sides can hear. Because there's gonna be black women that hear him doing that,
It's
and
like,
that's it. That's the end of the conversation, irrespective of how right or wrong he might be.
Absolutely.
The conversation ceases at that point.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Sean Bills, thank you for the $2 super chat. My G, Patreon supporter. Let me find out MTR has bars. LOL, I do music. Salute, Sean. Oh, I know you do. You did music, bro. Yeah, I don't have bars, but I can make shit up on the fly. Essentially, that's what I'm saying. I didn't see any ones. I saw Cam did a one. I saw Greg did a one. Listen, the thing is, I just looked on the YouTube video. There's over 150 of you motherfuckers in here right now. And I want to say there's like 30 likes on the video. That's disrespect. Okay, go up, hit that like button, and then come back down. I'm not gonna do it until if I see 150 likes on the video, then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about it from that perspective. Come on, guys, we gotta get the word out there, and I can't do that without y'all. And that comes from the form of likes. Okay, on the video. Kyle Harold, email Sal. Yeah, bro, I just sent you an email back. I'm trying to understand your technology to understand what you have access to. I'm gonna keep on texting you so we can understand where you at. I also have other folks that want to join the chat as well. I want to hear from Kyle first, though. He seems committed to this conversation, and I want to hear what he has to say. Razil, take a shot.
You take a shot first.
You take a shot. We'll all take shots at the same time. Hold on.
Really?
I'm going to go get a shot cup.
What
Yeah.
are you doing?
Razil wants it.
Oh my gosh, Razil. We are. How long have you been going? We're not even 30 minutes in.
No, it says 56 right here, you liar. You're a liar.
I'm a liar.
I'm gonna go get the cup.
All right, fine. I saw an interesting comment up.
Go ahead.
Ago, and
if you see a comment, go ahead. Just click on it and then talk about
well,
it.
I want to know what you think. So someone mentioned that Snoop's been saying bitch for over 40 years. How do you think that plays into the conversation of like hip hop, rappity rap, and the language they're just used to? Again, I don't think it was right for him to call her out of her name, but like how does that fit in for you?
So the fact that he has he's seen as an authority figure in the game, but he's been referring to women as bitches. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially.
So again, I think that like there's ways to have conversations with people that don't make people close up and deselect out of the conversation.
True that.
So I think like the way that he said it, like it's different than calling and saying bitch in the middle of a song versus saying, Gayle, you a dog face bitch.
Yeah, he said it was like so like he felt it.
He felt it, and I felt like it was an emotion. Like it was a completely emotional response. But the thing is like there's a lot of black men and women that love emotional responses. # loving hip hop. They love that shit. They eat that shit the fuck up. But there's people outside of our culture that look at that shit like,
I hate it. It gives me anxiety.
Two wrongs don't necessarily make a right.
It doesn't.
Right? Like there's a way to do that without listen, her shit was trash. Unmistakably, her shit was trash. I know I was trying to play like devil's advocate in order to like enhance the conversation. I don't agree with what she did. She should have had a lot more taste in the subject. 100% agree. But at the same time, to have a well-known pillar of our society have a emotional response to that, I don't really bang with those emotional responses like that. I think that there's far better ways in order to articulate a point to really drive people towards that pylon of that you created with your words because you have that platform.
Is that where we need to grow? And I'm gonna let you grab your cups.
Yeah.
Is that where we need to grow as a community and a culture though? Like I think we are often susceptible, or we frequently fall prey to being in our feelings, getting in our emotions, having that type of response
We're
to
over-mothered and under-fathered.
Ooh, what you say there, sir? Over-mothered and under-fathered. Michelle Obama said that once. She said, oh no, that's not what she said. Sorry. I was gonna say her quote around how we raise daughters and love sons, but that's not exactly what you're saying. We are over mothered and under fathered. That is interesting. Very interesting. I'm not gonna Daryl, I'm gonna click on your comment. As Mediocre would say, thank you for your super chat. F. Gayle King, no emotion. I mean, you know, we all know her comment was very irresponsible and very tasteless. I think, you know, in the time of cancel culture and you know our quick responses to kind of turn our backs on folks, yeah, we're not very happy with her direction or even her selection of completing the interview or you know addressing those questions, but it is what it is. God damn, locker room, you going in? I'm not reading that. What's wrong with you, Kyle? I'll make sure he knows that you didn't get an email back. We'll get you situated, player.
Damn.
Kyle said he didn't get an email back.
No, I emailed him. Yo, tell him to check his spam.
Kyle, check your spam. We're trying to get you situated, player. Trying to get you situated. But yeah, I think there's a broader conversation to be had around our emotional intelligence as a culture, as a Black community. We're combating various like opportunities for growth. Like we're combating, you know, Black men supporting Black women. We're combating, you know, just human issues in general, like sexual assault, harassment, whatever. I think we might put a hyper lens on each other or our community when it happens between us. And I don't know how fair that is as we're continuing to try to grow and get there. But as Mediocre gets our shots together, guys, can we take a minute and acknowledge these sexy new glasses he has here? Ooh, take a look at these sleek new frames. See how they open up the space so nice.
Listen, you know, the thing is, and just so that they see what's happening, this is the tequila, this is the Espolón, same one from yesterday.
And shout out to Espolón for your sponsorship. We appreciate you.
They ain't sponsoring us. They need to fucking sponsor us.
We're gonna claim it.
Listen, Osbach needs to sponsor me as well. That's yours. Whoa. I don't know what I just did.
Hold on. Wait a minute. All
right,
let me switch.
Yeah, yo, even those out. Even those out. Okay. I did get some new glasses earlier. I told everybody that's on the stream, like, listen, go get your checkups. Go get. Yeah, let me tell you guys, just real quick. Here, like, I've had fantastic vision my entire life until I hit about 30, 31-ish, around that time. I was driving late night and I was actually back home. I was in New York, where I'm used to, where I'm from, and I hit a curb. That was the first sign. A couple of months later, was back home again. Because I really don't drive. Where I live at right now, we don't drive like that because everything is like right next to where I'm at. I walk to everywhere. I don't need to drive. I got a car, but I don't need to drive. And literally, I hit another curb. And I didn't even know how my vision was going. Now, the thing is you have to be mindful of these things as men. Like, as your shit starts to shift and change as y'all get older, like your teeth. Listen, you don't clean your teeth. You don't get checkups. You don't hygienist. Like, you're putting all that bacteria into your gut. And that's and now the research is showing how closely related. And we didn't know this before, how closely related your gut is to your brain. And that if your biome within your gut is fucked up, like, it'll mess your mind up. And there's people that sit in depression because they deal with IBS, constipation. They deal with all of these gut. That's why probiotics, like, I take a daily.
Research and I don't play. Oh,
you did.
You're right.
Oh, you know about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's spitting actual facts. I researched this for my thesis. Please continue.
Yeah. So, like, there's things within your gut biome that determines how your mind responds to stimulus. And if your shit is not up to par, if you're not cleansing, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not making sure that You know, what's the shit in probiotics that they put in it? And over encumber, right? Like there's good bacteria and bad bacteria, and the good bacteria combats the bad bacteria. I know we're getting the fuck off topic, but I feel like to talk about this from time to time because I got a bunch of dudes on here that may or may not understand the value of this shit. You have to be able to keep up on your health because it's something that you don't appreciate till you get to a time when, you know what I'm saying, something happens. Like if I didn't go get my eyes checked out, I probably would have kept on driving and fucking hit something at some point. You know what I mean? So anyway, I had those last glasses for 3 years, and then I got these on now. Salud. Salud. We'll see. Next time I go into the club, I'll see if the ladies like it. See if the ladies like it.
Oh, they've been going off. I ain't seen
Oh, they're going off. Jason Sano, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. How will you react to Gayle? What will you say? You saying if we're like renew her? Oh, that's actually a good question. If you were Oprah, how would you address Gayle in this situation? Like, let's say the situation has happened and started to hit the news. You start to get all the tweets and shit like that, and then she gives you a call.
Girl, what is you doing? That was my tea tacky. How you let them play you like that? How you get them to how did you get them to get you to say that? They about to light your ass up and I don't want to hear it. Click.
Oh, you a cold-hearted killer.
Not call back later.
You call back later, but you're going to let her feel it for a little while.
Yeah, that was your turn.
What you mean my turn? I feel like... Gayle, how dare you? For real, it's been 2 weeks.
2 fucking weeks.
You're black, Gayle. You're black. He's black. Stop it. We've had too much progression. Click. Hang up. That's it. Yeah. Show some respect. So, Jason, that's what we would say. Salud. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to take the goddamn shot. Wait, hold up. Oh, no, fuck up out of here. Wait, hold on. We not even
it out.
You a liar.
Okay, that's good.
You a grown ass liar. Salud. I know these not red cups, but fuck it. Okay, these are the shot glasses, the bathroom cups. This is how we do.
That's tough.
Let's do this. Yo, Kyle, have you been emailing me, bro? I don't got shit from you. I emailed you back. Oh, yeah.
It's Beauty Bakery.
Oh, he's got an iPhone. Okay, I got your email, bro. Okay, cool. Yeah, all you got to do is when I send you the link, you just click on the link and then you can go on from your iPhone. It's just keep your phone relatively angled because if you're moving all around, it's going to get annoying to people. Snoop was emo. He and Kobe were close friends, but we attack our own more viciously than others who diss us too often. Gotta do better.
Agreed, Sean. We're working on it.
But we have too much of a crab in a barrel mindset. We have too much and I think like a large component of it is like where we are within our history. Like I think that like we haven't had a long time to ascertain wealth. And when we haven't, and you see those that are attaining heights above you, your human instinct, your human nature may be to hate on that because of your insecurities, because what you have not attained yet. And there's a degree within that we're still breaking from the chains of systematic oppression and we're trying to overcome. And there's a lot of different things within that are holding us back. But then you get this crab in a barrel mindset when everyone in your general vicinity is at an even, but you got ones or twos that are kind of making it out. But you feel it's necessary to pull them back in. And it may just be something that's instinctual to you, right? It may just be something that like you have the ability to rely on because it's what everyone else does around you. It's like interesting, like, we talk about on the channel, like, those that have different views. Am I getting too far off topic? You let me know.
No, I have a question once you finish.
We talk about different views on this channel. And like, I was a dude that like I was into all types of shit as a kid. Like, you guys know I love Dragon Ball Z. Like, that's my shit. I'm an anime fan. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you tell a lady that, like, I wasn't telling ladies that. You know what I'm saying? It was my own like little secret thing. But like, you get labeled as corny or what have you. But I think that that's a crab in a barrel mindset because you're not allowing me to express myself to my fullest.
I guess that kind of plays into my question too. How is that crab in the barrel mentality? So when I think about a Snoop responding to a Gayle, I have a hard time equating that to a crab in the barrel mentality. When I think about you expressing your interest in anime to a female friend, I have a hard time in seeing that in crab and barrel mentality. I think they're both problematic, but I think there might be something different.
I think it's different. I agree with you.
Okay.
It's a little bit different.
But like it kind of like falls into your general definition of crab in the barrel.
It falls into my understanding of people that are unable to step outside their own way to understand the gravity of situations.
Good stuff.
Like what are you doing to inhibit a culture?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to inhibit a gender?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to inhibit a sexuality? Mm-hmm. And that's my thing. Like, you shouldn't be inhibiting people unless it's like damaging or illegal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, you know what I mean? How many of y'all saw that new Broly movie? Show Broly some respect. All right, let's get back in here. Daryl Stevens, thank you much for the $5 super chat. Why do we have to be soft shoeing when we attack with no remorse? We get shot, killed, beat, berated, and stomped. And we need to be diplomatic. This is the age-old, do you fight fire with fire? This is this is the age-old, do you fight fire with fire? And I think at a base level, you do.
But it plays into the broader conversation that you were mentioning earlier. Like, we have to do better. We have to grow. We have to get out of our feelings. And because for a multitude of reasons, we are where we are. We're stifled in several areas. And we have to grow. We have to be more emotionally responsible, emotionally intelligent. There are ways to address problematic issues. There are ways when we watch your lip there. There are ways when we are being attacked with no remorse. I completely understand. I completely agree with you, Daryl. We are, and that was the case in this situation. But we still have to grow as a people.
Here's the thing, guys. You understand the content that I upload to this channel. You understand who I have on this channel. I have red pill ideologies, but then I'll have Des on and we can have a conversation about it. I know we haven't gotten into it tonight so far, but I think that we will, depending upon your time and your availability. And I want to get Kyle on here too, because I want to have a conversation with Kyle. Imagine if I had my guest on here and I called him a dog-faced bitch in the middle of the conversation. How far do you think that conversation would go? And listen, I look at comments all the time that are questioning me and my manhood because I'm not over here calling them this, that, and a third, or going in and but it comes to a point where are you just all about creating conflict, or are you about creating solutions? You see what I'm saying? And when I have folks on here to be able to talk about a situation, it's to understand the position and their point, and then to disprove that point, depending upon how I feel, how off base that I feel that they are. And then they can go back later and see y'all comments later on. My thing is my point that I'm asserting as we think about the way that Snoop talked about it is it appeals to emotions, it appeals to feelings, but what does it do to really solve and help the situation?
Or even push the conversation forward.
That's what I'm saying. Salute Daryl Stevens so much. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my G. I think that I don't think that you should attack back and forth. That's not what I try to push. I try to push to strategically respond to a situation that push you ahead. Any situation that y'all going through in the workplace right now, you got that boss that you don't like, you got that coworker that's just leeching off of your wins and your accomplishments. You don't just react. You don't just react and be like, yo, fuck you, boss. You don't react and just be like, yo, why you always leeching off of my shit? You got to get strategic with that shit. You got a plan to conquer. And that's some of the things that we teach you on this channel. Salud. Oscuro Tsunami. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Yo, my guy. Off topic, but salute. Okay. For the 5-item recommendations. Made my way through 3 or 5, and life has been up on the uptick. This is why I do the motherfucking videos. Salud, Oscaro. Thank you, bro. I love to read messages like that, yo.
Yeah, man. I got a couple off there too, Oscaro.
You watched the video?
I did.
Okay, so
I'm getting me the Philips Sonicare toothbrush situation. Guys, make sure you go to that video, use the affiliate links, and get you a little something too.
Yeah, and affiliate link support me as well. Yeah, go up on there, guys. Listen, the my teeth, like I had braces as a young child, so my dentist like closed my teeth in really, really tight. So my teeth are really, really tight. And I didn't understand the value of flossing until I hit 30, literally like 4 years ago, until I hit 30. And I was getting cavities and all types of shit. I never got it. That simple thing, the floss pick. But now that I use the electric toothbrush, never use a manual toothbrush ever again. There's no reason. There's no point. You go back in there, you turn that bitch on, and it just gets everything off easily as a motherfucker. Easily. So, so thank you, bro. Thank you for bringing this back up. I think it's really important. What's another one? Oh, I did the pull-up bar. I did the y'all see me in here. Wait, hold up. I got
you got the tiger, the tiger hairline. Tori did that too.
Yeah, no. He did some other surgery, millionaire shit. But my shit is come on.
Oh, you done filled in nice, player.
Come on, listen.
Okay.
A thug 34 on this bitch. I'm about to turn 35 and the hairline. Oh, come on. Yo, this shit started. I haven't showed you photos, but back in 2012, my shit started to leave my face. It started to McDonald.
Shut up.
It started to McDonald. And I started using a product. You guys link down in the script. Actually, in this video, I think I put it down in this video. Like, hold on, let me see real quick if I put it down. Yeah, go back down to the video. There's 5 products videos in there. How I reverse my hair loss videos in the description. How I record my videos. What's the likes on this channel doing? Yo, you motherfuckers better
it's all right. It's on like 65. Y'all can do better. Y'all a little slack tonight.
I'm not freestyling to 150 likes.
Come on, fellas.
Oscuro, thank you so much for the support, bro. I'm glad everything is on the upswing for you, my G. I'm glad for you. What's going on? What's going on? That's not true about wealth.
Kyle speaking more clear sentences.
We should just tell Kyle to come on. The problem is culture and mindset. Kyle, there's a supporter for real. You got fans in here. Kyle, I'm gonna send you a link to the channel. I want to hear what you got to say, bro. Hold on, let me go back in here. Let me send him the link. Thank you for your patience, by the way, my G. I want to hear copy to clipboard. We still didn't get into the pink pill conversation. We'll do that after we talk with because I want to inform you on the bullshit that happens out here. Yeah. Okay. Y'all got me up here taking shots and shit.
Yeah, y'all are rude. All right, Kyle, you better be talking about something too.
Kyle, you got the link, my G. I hope you got a stand for the iPhone or just hold that shit really still. Okay. All right. Kyle, I just gave you the link, bro. As soon as you get in here, let's talk about it. Look, Derek says, I like her. She that friend that always cheer a nigga on.
Oh, yeah. Got your back, player.
Yeah, you got my back.
I got it.
Hey, that's what's up.
Listen, I'm really intrigued about Kyle's conversation because I think it's always, we talking through this. It's kind of like
niggas losing their masculine frame for Dez. Dez, what you doing out here?
Kenny, come on. I thought it was better.
Yo, Dez come through with all the femininity.
Damn.
She come through with all the femininity. Y'all motherfuckers validating like a motherfucking over there. You motherfuckers wilting. Hold on, let me talk to these niggas. You motherfuckers wilting. Be strong. Be strong. Be strong.
Fellas. I don't know what y'all talking about. We chopping it up.
She know what she's doing.
Kenny, I thought it was better.
She know what she's doing. Lauren, what's good? How
Hey,
are
sis.
you? I know Lauren. I've known her for a long time.
Oh,
Lauren, yo, MTR, she got fans because she is smart and beautiful. Come on, you got
appreciate you,
points.
sis.
You got points. Be strong, my G's.
Lauren, I might need some backup. Be ready to call in.
Bump what she says. It's just femininity. She knows what she's doing. She's smart. Okay, she's smart. Okay. Oh, Kyle, what's good, my G? Come on. Oh, yeah. Kyle, talk.
Hey, what's going on?
Kyle, how are you, man? Wait, hold on. Let me fix what's going on with the screen. There we go. Kyle, I'm not sure how well that they'll be able to hear you. So, guys, comment in the chat. Can you hear Kyle talking? Kyle, what city are you from, bro?
I'm in Cleveland.
Are you in Cleveland?
Hey!
What up,
Shout out to the
Ohio?
Midwest.
Ohio in the house, my G. How are you tonight, man? How are you?
Can't complain.
Dope, bro. Dope, man. Listen, man, you active on here, bro. You active on here, man. I want to get your feelings. So, how you feel about the Gayle King situation? I think so. When you talked before, you talked through how you thought white supremacy was blocking the actual issues. You see what I'm saying? So,
Correct.
I want to hear how you think about that, and then we're gonna have a conversation on what we think that it's actually towards.
Okay, so I'm not saying that there isn't white supremacy, but the argument of it being white supremacy because whites are in power is a deflection of the problem. The Democrats started the KKK. The Democrats started welfare.
Facts.
Okay, so a lot of these poor cities are ran by Democrats. Gun violence, schools, Democrats.
Facts.
Okay, so when you look at the racial inequality for blacks, it's majority from Democrats. When it comes to the elite situation, are you telling me that Lil Wayne and LeBron James get treated just like me? An average dude that is middle class. I'm not even middle class. I make 50 grand a year. So do I have more benefits than they do? It's a money thing. It's not a race thing. Money will buy you those things.
That varies.
It varies, but I think he makes a good point. I think he makes a fantastic point in a sense that we talk about like on this channel from time to time, like that. And I've thought about this as well. Do we overestimate the things that we talk about because we are not considering those that do not look like us, that are in the same socioeconomic class?
I consider those things.
But this is a fact. So in West Virginia, there's a county that is the poorest county in the United States.
Yep.
It's all white people. Does
Yep.
not have the crime rate that Chicago has. Does not have the crime rate Cleveland has. The fact of the matter is it's a mindset. It is not when you go to a suburb, do you see bottles and condoms and diapers just in the parking lots? No, you don't. It's a mindset of how people think and how they live. And if you perpetuate this idea that there's always a white person trying to hold you down, that's going to make you not want to achieve anything more because that gives you an excuse.
Facts.
Kyle, I think that
Facts. I believe him. Go ahead. Sorry.
what you are saying in pockets is correct. Like, you have not stated anything that is incorrect, but I do think that you cannot apply the same logic across the board.
Okay, here's a fun fact. All right. When it comes to people being shot by the police, unarmed people that are shot by police are more white people. The media only shows you black people. If you took all of the people that get killed by police that are unarmed black men, it would take 40 years to equal the same amount of time in 1 year that black people get shot by other black people. It's not that big of a problem compared to other things. Is it a problem? Yes. But to say it's racist cops, that's not the problem. Because white people are getting it too. You just don't hear about it.
I think it's easy to say these things in seclusion.
Kyle's cool.
Listen.
And the thing is like, so you guys have, we're going to talk about it. let's have like we're switching the tone and the consistency of the conversation, and I feel like this is important to be able to talk about because Kyle has researched data. He has researched data, and it's the same data that I researched. However, there has to be still, you have to understand that, yes, that is true, but there's more white people than black people.
Correct.
Right. So how is the ratio affecting that? And I'm sure you have an answer for that, Kyle.
I do.
Go ahead, bro.
I do.
I teed it up for you. That's the alley. Go ahead.
So if you look at the FBI statistics when it comes to violent crime,
yep,
over 50% of all violent crime is done by African American men from the ages of 18 to 36. They are 51%. Okay, black folks are 13% of the population. Only about 5% of the black community would be a part of that 18 to 34 group. So you have a higher probability of coming across cops if you live in a black neighborhood that has a high crime rate. I'm not saying that there aren't suburban cops that don't like black people and pull them over. Not saying that's not true. But you can't take that one racist guy that called you the N-word at the grocery store because you cut him off as a reason of systematic oppression. Like you're adequating two different things.
So systematic oppression doesn't exist?
Not today.
So he said you can't allow the one guy at the grocery store that called you an N-word to make you think that's systematic oppression. Right.
Systematic oppression is a law that is on the books. If you want to make an argument from the 1950s or the 1960s under Jim Crow laws, you would be correct. But as of 2020, there is no law on the books that says black people can't do this, black people can't own that. There's not.
Do you think we're equal today?
Yes.
So
you have the same opportunity that everyone else has.
So Kyle is saying yes, under the law we are equal today. And Kyle is also going to say, and in fact, we have more equity opportunities because there's things put in place for our skin color, such as affirmative action that pushes folks that look like us into the light, regardless of our test scores, regardless of but at the same time, Kyle, you also have to understand that the years of oppression that folks that have looked like us that have endured.
Okay.
And the thing is like, so
I got a thing for that too.
And you can't also disregard. You cannot also disregard that because of the division that was caused from folks that were of your ethnicity.
What ethnicity am I?
I don't know what your ethnicity is, but
so
how not black.
So how are my? But that's the thing. When you generalize white people, you say white people. But the fact of the matter is,
I didn't say white.
I know you didn't, but I'm saying you're saying people that look like you that did those things.
Yes.
Yes. So how many white nations are there? How many different types of white?
Where are your ancestors from?
But it doesn't matter because
it does.
No,
it does.
So I think that it doesn't because I'm guessing based off of the color of your skin that you have heritage that has to do with systematic oppression. But I'm not saying that you're white. I'm not white. I'm not saying that you're white. I'm not saying which portion of Europe that your ancestors might have been from. I'm staying away from that. But what I am saying is that based off of what you look like, you might have had ancestry that had to do with the laws that allowed slaves to happen. So that's what I'm saying. But I'm not accusing you because I think you're cool as shit.
I know.
I would make that clear.
But this is what I'm trying to get you to see. Okay. When people make an argument about white people in power, white people this, there are different groups of white people that are just, we're white. That's it. We don't share any other similarities.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Like I'm Irish. The Irish came here as indentured servants.
Mm-hmm.
We were slaves. Okay. Just because only 5% of the United States owned slaves. The first person that owned a slave in the United States was a black man. The first president after the Revolutionary War was a black man before George Washington. the problem in the narrative that you guys
President of what?
So before George Washington became president, there were actually presidents before him. Okay.
Okay.
The first president before George Washington, before it was considered the United States when it was still a colony, was a black man. He was actually fought in the Revolutionary War, and he was the president. He was in charge of the country.
So I don't know what the term president means before the Constitution.
He did the same job. He was the highest man in office, in power in the United States.
Right.
Okay.
Get your Google ready.
Another
Come on,
thing.
Kyle. Teach us some shit, Kyle. Is that for real?
I gotta fact check that.
Another thing. This is also the part of slavery that people want to forget. It was not the white man that made slavery. It was the black man that sold black people into slavery. It was the Muslims.
No. Hold on. Yeah, don't do that.
Wait.
She's joking. Go ahead.
A second. It was the Muslims actually that started the slave trade. Okay. Slavery goes on in the Muslim world right now. You can buy an African American male for $400 in Libya as of today, as we speak.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
And the Muslims castrated those slaves so that they couldn't reproduce. We're the only country that fought to end slavery. The Republican Party was founded by freed slaves.
So Kyle, real quick, what's the name of the person that was president before George Washington?
I'd have to Google his name. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Is it something that's easily Googleable, or like let's talk about it, because I feel like that's the first thing that you entered into the conversation that I'm not gonna talk about unless.
I mean, just looking, he doesn't appear.
He don't look black. He don't look black. Who is that? 1783. No, that's before 1776. It's got to be someone before 1776.
Was there a black president before George Washington?
Yeah, Des is Googling, was there a black president before George Washington? Bro, Kyle, real quick, before we continue the conversation, we got a fact. Okay, I'm seeing John Hanson. We're looking at John Hanson. That motherfucker does not look black. It's 1721. John Hanson. Okay, click on that shit. Let's see what they say in there. This is why I gotta pull it up on. Let's pull it up on the official Google. I gotta see this. Come on, let me share screen.
If I Google it, it'll take me off the screen.
No, it's good, bro. I got you. Come on, I got it. All right. I think everybody can see. Hold on, I'm gonna make it bigger. So everyone can see the screen.
You done? You still want it?
John Hanson was a merchant and a public official in Maryland during the era of the American Revolution. Elected as delegate to Continental Congress and serving a variety. Number one, bro, I'm looking at his photo that he don't look like a black guy.
Come on. Hold on a second. I gotta help my son.
It's good, man. He was actually the first holder of the office of president. He don't look black though, bro. Personal life. Oh, motherfucker had 8 children. That was back in the day when they was just pumping out babies.
Come on, bud. Let's wash your hands. You got pee?
Oh, he's got statues and shit. And he had the he don't look black, bro. Senator of Liberia. No, that's someone else.
There was definitely a president before George Washington that was black.
Oh, here goes another John Hanson of Liberia. Associated with American Colonization Society, was sought to relocate, reform, and emancipated Black Americans to Liberia. You might be talking about this guy, bro. There's 2 John Hansons. Senator Hanson was sometimes misidentified as being John Hanson, a white politician who served as president of the Continental Congress during the American Revolution. Kyle, talk to me, bro.
I hear you. Hold on a second.
Talk to me, bro. Hold on. What on,
Sorry.
soldier.
I was talking about something.
Soldier. Hold on. Kyle,
Yeah.
we found another John Hanson who I think is who you're talking about. Okay. There was a John Hanson in Liberia. He's black as shit, as you can see on the on the let's highlight his blackness. He's black as fuck. Jesus. Right. That is a black gentleman. Okay. Let me go back. Kyle, are you looking at the screen? Senator Hanson has sometimes been misidentified as being John Hanson of Maryland, a white politician who served as president of the Continental Congress during the American Revolution. There was not a black president before George Washington. That has been solved through the use of the Google. Kyle, I need you back in here.
Yeah, I hear you. Sorry.
Come on. We gotta fact check. That's what we do when we're down in here. We got to get the fact check going. Okay.
You want someone to drink?
Kyle has brought up some.
He's brought up some great points. Now,
I think it's difficult in this format to discuss them all because, like, when you just you just have this free form conversation, sure, you're making great points. And it's like, oh, let's go with this. I think each one needs a different conversation.
Now, Kyle, I think you bring up fantastic points, bro. But this is the reason why I think it's very important to have conversations like this, because littered in a couple of your points is misrepresentations or facts that
there was one
at a point that can be disproven. So
there was one point.
But that was a big point, though, bro. Like you dropped some shit on us, and we was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Because you know, it's Black History Month right now, so like I feel like that motherfucker would have been celebrated like a motherfucker. And I never heard of, you know what I'm saying, a John Hanson that was, you know, black, you know, but that motherfucker was in Nigeria doing his Nigerian thing.
All right. So who controls the school system?
What?
Who controls the school system?
Wait, hold on. I think I'm missing some super. Wait, hold on a second. Let me just get to some of these super chats. So 9/11 baby goat at Kyle, hold this L. MTR, take a shot.
MTR, take a shot.
Wait, just
you done?
Or Dez too.
I don't see that.
Or Dez too.
Kyle, you too.
I don't drink.
Take a long drag.
Yo, take a long drag, Kyle. I'm gonna take a shot, Kyle. You take a long ass drag. we gonna talk stuff like that. Let me make sure.
Yeah, I don't drink. I'll be 5 years sober in the 23rd.
Come on, 5 years sober, Kyle. That's what's up.
Kyle. Congratulations, bro.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations. So seriously, on some shit. You know what I'm saying? I think I have a very addictive personality.
Same.
Do you really? Do you?
I do for real.
I got problems with addictions to shit.
Same.
Yeah. I've been working on me. So
about Kyle.
yeah, but Kyle, salute to you, bro. The sobriety.
You're an idiot. All right. So did we get to the root of Kyle's point?
Well, listen, I don't, Kyle.
I also made the point that it's more a woman man thing than a white black thing.
Yeah, go into that, Kyle.
Yeah. Let's go into that.
So, if you look at the disparities between men and women, they are far, far, far higher than the disparities between white men and black men.
Keep going.
So, like when it goes to deaths at work.
You said deaths?
Deaths at work.
Okay.
When it comes to false rape allegations, like a lot of the things that affect people in society it's a men issue more than a white black issue. The disparity is a lot closer with the racial issue than it is the gender issue.
But that's interesting for sure.
We gotta get some examples. Like I feel like
Okay,
it's
so
hard to talk about it unless we got examples.
So here's an example. So men and women commit the exact same crime. A man is is more likely to do 6 times more time for the same crime than a woman is.
Yeah,
I
that's
tend to agree
true.
with that one.
That's true. That's facts.
90% of all people that are homeless are men.
Okay.
Facts. I agree.
Like,
I said all these points on the stream last night. I know you were there, so you probably saw all of those points.
Yeah.
That I was making.
Last night, the point that I was trying to make when she asked me to list off rights was that genital mutilation for women has been illegal since 1997, but it is legal for men and is pushed by women to have their boys circumcised.
Well, let me try to offer. Let me try to offer. You said genital mutilation, or you said circumcision?
It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, like, let me. The only thing similar between female circumcision and male circumcision is the word circumcision. Besides that, they are very different acts. Very different.
You're cutting a child's genitals.
You're removing the clitoris from a female, and you're removing foreskin from a male.
When that foreskin holds 40% of a man's nervous endings, he actually gets a less of a sensation because of the removing of that. That's
No, so that's fact.
It's similar. It's similar.
No, but it's not similar because yes, a dude does have a lessening of a sensation, but female circumcision, to my knowledge, is removing the clit, like the sensors completely. And I feel like there's also don't they tighten the lips up? Like, don't they close?
They cut the lips as well. There's like 3 different ways that they do it. It depends on the culture. But the point of it is, a boy still can't consent to his own body, but it is completely illegal for women. You can't do it in any way, even if it's culturally.
But real quick, Kyle, let's understand. I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but compartmentalize it in a sense that I don't think you can compare apples to apples there. I think that's the apples to orange conversation, because if we're saying on one side of the coin, the man is losing sensation, but on the other side of the coin, the woman is losing complete sensation, and in fact, it alters the way that she urinates because it's not the same. They close things off.
But the common denominator is consent. A woman has consent over her own body. A male does not. That is the point.
So, but let me ask you a question. Do you think that consent depends on what that outcome is?
No, because the child doesn't have the choice to make. The choice it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the outcome. You're still taking a young child and cutting their genitals.
Are you pro-life?
I am pro-life.
I think that it's an interesting thing that you're stating, and like I still think like the logical component of me still thinks that there has to be layers of.
Yeah, the layer should be that you get to choose when you're old enough if you want to do it or not. It shouldn't be that someone has the ability to do it over you.
Yeah, but the choice should be you have to consider what the choice is, and if the choice is losing sensation versus losing complete feeling and changing and altering the way that you pee, like there has to be in my opinion, like there has to be an understanding that there's levels to this shit, right?
There was a boy that had a circumcision that lost his whole penis. Like there are people that they get botched. Like it's just as bad.
Okay.
Like the fact of the matter is, it's a right that women have that men don't. Was the point? Just like women have the right not to be a mother, but men don't have that same right.
Well, listen, I don't know what my life would be like if I had 40% more feeling in my penis. Like I probably have at least three kids right now.
That's it?
Oh, I have
a smooth 20.
A smooth 20, you think? Yeah.
You're hungry.
She God said I'm hungry.
No, I'm talking to my son.
I thought you were talking to me. I'm about to say,
No, I'm talking to my son. Here's my little boy.
What a cutie. Hi.
What up?
Say hi.
What up, Minnie Kyle? How are you? Hey,
Yeah, I was talking to him.
I almost stumbled your
salute.
name.
Cleveland in the building. Cleveland in the building.
But yeah, what it comes down to is like the whole race issue has been pushed so that we fight amongst each other. Because once we fight amongst each other, we don't get to see what else is going on. Like a fact, after slavery, during the 1930s, there were black millionaires. There was Black Wall Street. You can look it up.
Do you remember what happened to Black Wall Street?
Regardless if it got bombed or not.
How is that regardless?
How was that regardless, bro?
Because back then, black folks said, you won't let us into your theater, we'll make our own theater. Now, the mentality of black folks is different. Now it's, I don't build my own stuff. The mindset changed. During that time period, 92% of children in the black community were born to both parents. Now it's at 75%. Like, the mentality is different. Back then, after slavery, black folks were the people that built, because when they were slaves, they were tradesmen. They learned those things. So when they became free, they prospered. But that,
no, go ahead, bro. Keep going.
But that self-reliance was lost.
Well, here's the thing, and one of the biggest differences, I'm gonna let you talk in a second. One of the biggest differences is that we are no longer reliant on the economics of our geography within walking distance. So we are not anymore. We're a global society. I mean, you're in Cleveland right now, and we're having a conversation right now. So if you look at just the numbers of who is in the United States and the marketplace that's available to us, you have to consider who's your market. Your market is the world. Your market is the United States, and we don't number. So it would behoove us to sell to those that do not look like us.
Yes,
so it's
but
different. I don't know if you can compare the economics of I don't think you can compare the economics of Black Wall Street before it was bombed by racist white people towards what we're dealing with today. This is way more of a global, it's way more of a symbiotic relationship of technology that allows us to meet irrespective of our geographic location.
You're right, but the difference is the priority. Back then, they were like, you can't come to our theater, you can't come to our grocery store, you can't do this. Yeah. So they built their own. Mm-hmm. Okay, how much money is the weave industry worth? Billions,
hundreds of millions, if not billions.
Billions a year.
Yeah.
Jordan shoes. How much money is spent on shoes for Jordan?
Hundreds of millions, if not.
It's not a fact. It's not a fact that the money isn't there. You okay, buddy? The buying power of the African American community is large, but the way that money and that mentality is spent is different. Because back then, black folks took their money and they invested it in themselves. Now the black folks, they don't. That's why when you go to the hood, you have Indians and you have people from the Middle East owning the gas stations, owning the corner stores. You don't see a lot of black businesses in black neighborhoods. It's a change in mentality, is my point. And that started to happen when blacks went from the Republican Party in the 30s to the Democrats.
How you feel about it?
You got it. It's hard for me to have these deeper conversations because I think it's easy to clickbait, have hot take statements without going into deeper conversations around each topic. So that's why I haven't.
Look up the birth rate.
Think about it.
Look up the birth rate in 1930 to the birth rate now.
No, so what I was going to, so I in my mind I equate our Black Wall Street, there were several different pockets of black people who established their own towns and made, their own for themselves, right? Think about the mentality that was applied to slavery and lynching. I can't remember the letter by, was it somebody Lynch? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, his last name was Lynch.
Yeah. So
Willie?
something like that.
Willie Lynch.
So I think the same mentality or the same approach was applied to Black folks in the 30s or even the 20s, like those early years, early 1900s,
You
where
want it warm?
their
You
objective
gotta let it
wasn't only to end what they were doing in that moment, it was also to stifle any stifle any motivation to do that or continue that same kind of
Yes,
uh,
you're right.
aspiration in the future. I think, Kyle, I think you bring great
Yes.
points. I just can't go into each with you in this format just because of the timing and kind of like.
So you're telling me that Black folks were able to do that right after slavery, like fresh out of slavery, not that long ago. But we're 150 years later, and they can't do it because we're more racist than we were in the 1960s.
That
and
is
the
not
civil
what I'm
rights.
saying, but I think that is also a misconstrued statement that you're.
Hey, I just want to keep it funky. Kyle, the thing is everything that you're saying is challenging the victimhood mentality.
And that's the point.
Now, and I agree with you because I agree with you to the point of challenging victimhood mentality. However, I do think that there's some components that you challenge that I want to give you a different perspective towards. You see what I'm saying? And I like we'd have to hit every situation case by case, but I feel like you have a good perspective of both sides of the coin, but I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your perspective because you come through with data, you come through with analytics. One of those analytics was a little bit off, but we got you back on the right track. So like I feel like we can't really get into it unless we hit it at a very specific level. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Because I can't refute the shit that you're saying at a macroeconomic level because I hear you. And in fact, I say the same shit because, and maybe this is why you subscribe to my channel, I hate victimhood. I fucking hate it. I hate it with a passion because I know where I came from. Single parent home. My pops was a school teacher. And I seen him every day in the house making me out to be the man that I am today. And he crafted me the sand into the diamond with the pressure that he applied to make me who I am today. And I hope you're doing things in your life to craft the sand of your children into the diamond that they'll be later today. And I don't care what race that you are. It's tough being a father. You see what I'm saying? So, and I feel like there's components that you've seen and things that we talk about in this channel that you saw within that, you subscribed, and then now we having this conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? So like, irrespective of the races, I still think like, and I appreciate your perspective because it allows people not to think in that victimhood shit and to really look at the shit that we sit in. And does it make sense for us? You see what I'm saying?
So this is what it comes down to. Before I got sober, I was a bleeding heart liberal. All for Obama. Always was about the bad guy. The system was fucked up. All that good stuff. All right. But to get sober, I had to take responsibility for my actions.
Right.
For the things that I did. And when you start taking personal accountability, you can't be a victim. Because when I was getting high, the reason that I got stopped by the cops was because I left the house too early. Not the fact that I was on the run, not the fact that I had drugs on me, not any of those facts. If I wouldn't have left that night, I wouldn't have got caught. Like, whenever you take what you do out of the reflection, it doesn't allow you to get any farther. And when you were talking about you were in a single parent household, all right? Yeah. So if you look at the numbers, you are way more highly to live in poverty, to be a drug addict, to go to jail, to drop out of high school, have a teen pregnancy, if you don't have a father in your household.
Facts.
And going back to the Black community having 72 or 74% of the children are born in single parent households. Now, I have 2 kids. I have 2 baby moms. So like I fall right into that criteria. Like, yeah. I'm not excluding myself in that at all.
Right.
But the point of it is that didn't start happening until the welfare happened. During the civil rights movement, the black family was together.
Yeah.
Okay. The welfare state is what pushed the man out the house.
Yeah.
Okay. The war on crime pushed the man to prison. Okay. It was
Facts.
the CIA. It was the CIA that was putting drugs in those communities.
Facts.
Okay.
And there's documented. A lot of motherfuckers don't understand that, Kyle. I understand it. I've done my research. That is facts. They were doing experiments on motherfuckers in the hood.
Well, they were also using the money to funnel rebels, because when Congress gives you money, they have oversight over top of you. When you have a black fund, you don't have to do that. Now, what also comes down to is all the systematic rules of racism that come are from the Democrats. Jim Crow laws was from the South, and it was from the Democrats.
Yeah.
When the Ku Klux Klan went from the Ku Klux Klan, they went to the police department. They went to politicians. When the civil rights movement was passed, the Democrats voted against it. It was Republicans that voted it into law. A lot of the problem is people don't actually go back and look at what was going on. Like here's a perfect example. Have you ever seen the interview of Muhammad Ali where they asked him why he changed his name from Cassius Clay?
I think I have, but remind me why that's of relevance.
Okay. He said that I changed my name from Cassius Clay because I wanted to get rid of the slave owner's name and have a name that was more reflective of my people. Okay? Sounds great, right? Sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you go and look at Muhammad was white. In the Quran, it talks about how his shins were white. His armpits were white. He said the devil looked like a black man. All right? If you go and look up his 36th grandson, his 36th grandson is a white man with red facial hair.
Right.
So even the Muslim faith during that time wasn't telling the black community the truth. The problem of it is the black community is the canary in the coal mine for the rest of us. The drug started with you guys in the 70s, in the 80s, and now it's the rest of us. Whenever they start doing stuff to you guys, it comes to us. Like, it affects all of us.
Well, but there's still arguments that can be made who introduced the drugs, right? So we talked about before the influence that the elites had on our culture. And and you already know this because you've done your research. You've done your research. Who introduced the crack into the hood?
It was the CIA.
Let's talk about it. We could talk about it, bro, because we can Google search like a motherfucker right now, right? You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't us. We didn't pull the cocaine out of nowhere. It was introduced to us.
Yeah, but I got a question for you.
Talk to me.
Okay. So if I come over to your house with a bunch of illegal stuff,
bro, you can't do that argument.
Wait a second.
Oh, I'm listening.
Okay. You have a choice in partaking, correct?
Yeah, but like,
wait. Just wait. I'm gonna lead you to the answer.
Come on.
It's not okay.
Yep.
So it was because these sections were poor, correct? Poverty was the reason these people wanted to make money, correct?
Dog, listen. Don't act like you haven't tried an opioid before.
I'm not. That's not my point. My point is the community was poor, correct? There was less opportunity.
But let's put that in there. Let's interject that in there, because I'm gonna tell you something from my own personal experiences. I was gonna do a video on this shit. I had a stint in my life where I was on opioids.
I'm a recovered heroin addict.
Salute to you, bro. Salute to you, and I respect that. So you would know more than most of the people in this chat. You would know more than most of these people in this chat what the fuck that shit feels like.
Yeah,
that shit feels better than any sex you can ever. That shit feels better than, like, when you look at a motherfucker and they're like this. You look at them on the corner and they're like this, like this. Them right there. That's the best feeling, and most mortals don't feel that feeling. They don't feel what the fuck that might be. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's keep it funky. I want you to finish your point, bro. But I want you also to understand the introduction of a tool like that to control the mind of a populace.
I totally understand it, but this is the point. Had the black community been more prosperous, they would have been less likely to want to partake in things that were going to destroy their own people.
That's not true, bro, because that opioid addiction affects everybody. Like, if you look at the data, it affects all socioeconomic.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Equally.
But if you want to go there, Kyle, if you want to say that, Ben, we have to look at like the reason why they weren't in a better socioeconomic position, right? So we have our.
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead, bro.
So, like, the point that I'm getting to is a lot of these places have been voting Democrat for 100 years. Heroin was introduced in the 70s. A lot of that problem was these poor people. Like, why do black men go to, like, you want to say that black men go to prison all the time? That's true. And a lot of them sell drugs to make a living, correct? And it's in poor neighborhoods that a lot of that happens. That wouldn't have been so acceptable and devastating to the black community had they not been under Democratic control prior to that, where they stripped those communities because they were the racists that wanted to hold the black people back, is the point. It was set up intentionally, one step after another step after another step, to intentionally do that.
Okay, I don't care who did it. The fact that it was done, right? So like we get to a point where these people are so distraught, let's say, and they're so they're in such a state of despair that they latch onto these drugs to sell, to bring prosperity, what have you. For me, the larger conversation is kind of to your earlier point of like Black Wall Street. The fact that a lot of our freed slaves who had property that were given X amount of land were stripped of that land. So like a lot of generational wealth that we would have built, that those people right out of slavery had attained either on their own or just because of what they won in various situations, that it was stripped away from them. There were situations where there were, again, a lot of aggression, scare tactics, fear tactics, all that things like trickled down to where
I agree. I don't disagree with you, but the point that I'm getting to is the black community votes majority of what politics? Democrats.
And I don't agree that they should. And
okay,
but I agree with you because
that's what I'm saying.
But
what does the Democrats portray? What do they push? What mentality do they push?
Pro-choice. They
victimhood. They push victimhood mentality.
Welfare system. I'm pro-life.
Are you?
I am now pro-life, but it's because it benefits me now more than it did earlier in my life.
What are your thoughts on this? So a woman can sleep with 100 men. She can still only have one pregnancy.
Yeah.
A man can sleep with 100 women and have 100 viable pregnancies.
Yeah.
So like the question is, should we be regulating women's bodies and choices, or should we be regulating yours?
You're not regulating women's bodies.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
You're not regulating women's bodies with being pro-choice.
I'm talking about with the push for birth controls and all these things.
So I got a question for you. Do you let would you let a random dude screw you raw? Like you just don't know the guy.
Depending on how I'm feeling, Kyle.
Okay, so what it comes down to, yeah, but this is what it comes down to. You're taking, but this is the thing. You're taking your own personal safety and you're throwing it out the window because you don't know what that guy has.
Men do the same thing. What are we talking about?
Yes, but this is the difference. We don't get pregnant. You knew going into this that you get pregnant.
That's why you got the birth control, Kyle, but it's up to you to get it.
Hold on. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Listen. I want to continue this conversation, but I feel like we're at a cliffhanger, which is a good time to pause it. I got to go through the super chats real quick, and then Kyle and Dez, We're gonna go right the fuck back in there. Kyle. I don't know how you found my channel, but I appreciate you, my G. I appreciate Cleveland, Ohio coming through and just talking about what the thing that's going on in this world today. You know what I'm saying? Salud, my G. Kyle, you down? Come on, talk to me, bro.
I'm down. I have all night.
It's gonna be mega interesting. But listen, I gotta talk.
Do what you gotta do.
Hold on, real quick, my G. Crack was put in the hood. Mass incarceration? Question mark. Crack was put in the hood. Mass incarceration. Yeah. So I think Anthony is saying. Thank you, Anthony, so much for the $2 super chat. You always coming through and showing love, support, and respect. What I think Anthony is saying is that it was put into the hood and then they did it in order to force mass incarceration.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it was done.
True.
I think it was done. You know, the thing is like there's a lot of motherfuckers in this chat that don't understand what it means to be addicted to that shit. And let me go through. I was gonna do a whole video on this.
Do you know who?
I went through a time in my life. Just real quick, Qual. I went through a time in my life. Hold on, let me get this shit out the way. Just real quick. I'm gonna do a whole video on this shit, but just real quick. I went through a time in my life where it fucked me up. I pledged the fraternity. I got hurt, and I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for about a week. They had me on a medication called Demerol, which is the cousin of heroin.
It's all the same.
It's all the same, bro. And I'll tell you this: to this day, I still have dreams of that shit. To this day. Almost 20 years later, because here's the thing, like if you give a motherfucker a shoulder steak all his life, and then one day you get that motherfucker T-bone, and this is a real high level understanding of this shit. Like if you get a nigga T-bone on, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Right? Like, and the shoulder steak might have been the best experience you ever had in your life ever. For real. And I was in a controlled environment. God forbid if I was not in a controlled environment, because I have an addictive personality. Mm-hmm. You do as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, there's people that pass judgment on those that get addicted to these substances. And there is an argument there where in the 80s, it was called an epidemic. And now it's called a crisis.
There's also a difference.
Done that because of the races that are involved. Kyle, I want to hear your reaction towards that, bro.
There's a little bit of a difference there, though.
Talk to me.
So crack was an illegal drug. The heroin epidemic stemmed from pharmaceutical companies and doctors overprescribing pills. So, like, there is a degree of race to it, but at the same time, like OxyContin was told to be a non-addictive drug. And back in the early 2000s, you could get powerful painkillers very easily. Like they handed them out like candy. And a lot of people ended up getting addicted, going to a doctor and being told that it was non-addictive. And then they started taking the drugs back. Now, well, I do agree that the government intentionally did that because the war in Iraq brought in heroin from Iraq. Just like in Vietnam, they brought heroin in from Vietnam. The government did.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get it and understand it. Mr. Precise, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. This is a good conversation for another time, Mr. Precise, for another time right now. Let Kyle tend to his kids. Let's get back on topic. MTR, it's time for another shot.
It's time for another shot.
I don't know. So, like, I wholeheartedly appreciate Kyle's conversation. I'll be honest with you. So, listen, Kyle, we're going to take a shot without you.
No, he's going to take a shot without you.
No, because he's surprised. He's on his.
I'm saying, you said you're going to take a shot. I'm going to be over here.
You're not going to take a shot with me? Yes.
Yeah, Liam.
It's time. MTR, it's time for another shot.
Yo, I should have just taken a. I feel like Mr. Precise meant that me and you take another shot.
Mr. Precise, is that what you meant?
Is that what you meant, bro? So Mr. Precise put that shit in there at least 10 minutes ago. Oh shit. 10:17. I gotta catch up. Wait, hold on. Let me go down to the bottom of the chat. Thank you, bro. Again, Mr. Precise, always coming through and showing love, support, and respect. I always see your comments, bro. bro. Travis Shops. Thank you for the $2 super chat. That hit that heroin pose again. What the fuck?
How they look?
What the fuck did I do? I don't even know what I did.
Show again.
I don't know what I did. What? I don't remember. These are one of these live streams where I gotta go back later and just re-review what the fuck is going on. Because I don't know. Oh, the comments are going the fuck in. Demetrius Parham. Shout out to my Patreon supporters. Salud, Demetrius. Their children. Don't expect them to make good decisions. Respectfully. Salud, D. Oh, shit. Shaquille, you want to call in? Bro, you already know. Want to join the live stream. You already see the URL down there. What's good? What's good? Cause we can add more people to the live stream. More ways to support. Patreon.com/MTNR. Have you ever sent me emails? Bro, Shaquille, you have not sent me an email, bro. You have not sent me an email. Just send me an email and I'll reply back. Let me just keep going real quick. R.I.P. Kobe, I love you. Sucky, sucky.
Yep.
Thank you, Sucky, sucky, for the $2 super chat. R.I.P. Kobe, I love you. Salute.
Should you outside?
Interesting avatar with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing people here saying Shaquille, let Shaquille call in. I'm missing out on the entirety of the conversation. Shaquille, you already see mediocre tourism at gmail.com. Just send me an email, bro. And let this shit is going to space. Yeah, I'm looking at my spam and no one. Yeah. Shaquille, your shit's not in spam either. Yeah, your shit's not in spam either, bro. So come on, come through. Let me go down to the bottom. Check it out. D says their children don't expect them to make good decisions respectfully. Did I do that one?
You don't need he needs no more shots, actually.
Oh shit. Buggy Fitness says Kyle has no idea there was systematic racism, so it's pointless to convince him that black people have issues based off racism. Kyle, what you say to that, bro?
Like we can all agree that there was systematic racism, but you can't make an argument that we are more racist now than we were when Martin Luther King was fighting for civil rights.
I don't think anyone
That's a
said
good
that.
point.
I think it looks different.
Oh, okay.
How does it look different? If you can.
So words don't have definitions anymore. Okay.
Correct. So there are no longer laws in place, but there are unspoken. I don't want to call them rules, but there are unspoken practices or behaviors that are still taking place. You don't think?
No.
Okay.
If you go downtown right now, downtown Cleveland, go to the child support office, mainly black women. You go to the courthouse, it's mainly black women. You look at the city workers, it's not like that. Like there might be a black man's more likely not to get a job in the city because they have black managers that are over them. Like that's more real.
All right, listen, I'm on the path to inviting Shaquille into the chat because everybody is in the chat saying Shaquille needs to get in there. So hold on, let me invite Shaquille in here.
Shaquille, come through with some fire.
Come on. Let me hold on.
Here's a great question. All right.
Go ahead.
So we can agree that there's a industrial prison system, right, for profit?
Yes.
Okay, so then explain something to me. Why would black women buy into that system and put the father of their children on child support
How are black women doing that?
Well, you're telling me that black women don't put men on child support?
Why should fathers not be held financially responsible for their children?
Well, let me try to provide a perspective on that real quick.
I'm not saying.
And here's the thing: is that I feel like it's a slippery slope when you say one part of the equation where you don't want government intervention. You don't want government intervention for the abortion choice, but on the outcome, you want government intervention to require a man to pay for that decision.
But this is my point. If you buy into the prison system is bad and it's the white man system to hold black people down, why would you then go take your black men and sign him up to be in that system to where it doesn't benefit him? That's the point.
My assumption is, as a black woman, if you feel the need to take the father of your children and incorporate the court system, he is not working. I won't put it just on him. I will say the communication between the two of you is not working to a point to where you need legal, be it the man or not, because that hasn't changed for however many years. You need legal intervention. I don't think that's a woman buying into the man or the prison industrial complex. That's her seeking help. That's her needing support. So I think a lot of women in a lot of couples, I think they try to work through things the best they can. But if someone is being put on child support in terms of bringing the courts in to facilitate that, you're not contributing financially. So like, as a father, let's talk about you. As a father, I see you with your kids, y'all chilling, y'all chopping it up. You're very involved, right? There's no need to put you on child support.
I am on child support.
Well, goddamn, Kyle, why are you on child support?
Because when you receive welfare from the government, the state decides to go after you regardless if you paid for the child or not. When I went to court with my son, the mother of my son said that I paid for everything my son needed. Everything. In court. They then hit me with $1,300 a month in child support.
So that's not her. That's the legal.
Wait, hold up. $1,300 a month, and he's making $50,000 a year.
She didn't do that.
No, but she got welfare, and I was already providing for him
from the same system in the government that we pay taxes to.
Providing for him, I guess. Did she need the welfare for her own maintenance?
Welfare's for the kids.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know anything about welfare. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Welfare is for children. Child support's for children.
I know child support is for children. I didn't know that welfare was for children.
Well, if like now that Trump's in office, they've kind of changed it. When Obama was in office, he made it a lot easier to get welfare. Mm-hmm. But for the main part, mainly people that have children get welfare because they have children. Like, you become more impoverished when you have children compared to a single person. So like you can get it if you're not, but majority of the time it's because you have children. But the point of it is I didn't have rights as a father to see my son because she was the mother and she has all rights. And she stopped letting me see him. So I took her to court and put myself on child support to get the rights to see him. And the child support decided that they wanted their money, even though I was providing for him. And she had welfare because she has a daughter with a man who is not around. He's in prison. So regardless of my situation, because there was another child that was there and she was receiving benefits, the government wants their money.
Kyle, so let me ask you a question, because I hear everything that you're saying, and I've always had a problem with that, especially because you cannot, at least right now in the way that we run technology today, like track exactly what she's doing with the money. What would you say to younger Kyle, right? Kyle, before he encountered those situations, what would you say to younger Kyle so that you would not be in that situation?
Oh, it's totally my fault. I thought I was sterile.
Facts. But as a man, we have to take accountability for those things. We have to take accountability that at the end of the day, we did those things, and because of
I'm not passing blame on anybody, but I'm saying that if you're so strongly about sticking together as a people and about how it's wrong that the prison system is sending away black men, then by buying into that system, you would be pushing along that agenda. That's my only point. I'm not saying anyone's wrong or right when it comes to if they should get child support or not get child support. But if you feel strongly enough about the prison system taking away black men and ruining their life, part of systematic oppression, then going and getting welfare from the government and then being put on child support would be that same problem.
What's the alternative though, Kyle? So like if a woman is seeking child support because she, let's say this is not your case, right? So if she is genuinely not receiving support, you know, we can't, as a black woman, she can't help that systematic oppression, the prison industrial complex exists, right?
Don't let chat hit.
Shut up, Kyle.
Don't let that bad boy with the muscles that has that edge to him that just
you
gets
sound like this guy now.
all tingly on the inside come through and hit it because he had that nice little line. He's mysterious.
I fuck with Kyle hard body.
But I think
yo, just real quick. So I'm just putting Buggy Fitness. I put his website down in the chat just real quick. Just want to make sure that for those that's I put too many S's in that bitch. Take one. I'm sorry, I've been drinking. Take one of the S's out of that bitch and put his website URL open the shit and then show him love, support, and respect. But listen, I want to Shaquille. I was just about to introduce you. Where you at, bro? Yo, Shaquille was down in the chat and now I don't see him. My bad. I was just about to introduce Shaquille. He was in my chat and then he's not here no more. Shaquille, come back through, bro. Let's continue the conversation. You know what I mean? But Kyle, I think you bring up fantastic points, and your points are poignant. They're concise and they're consistent. And I agree with those.
I use logic.
Except for the shit about the first black president. I can't. That shit made me angry. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I have dialogue for all of them. We just don't have time or the place. Kyle, we're gonna get up in Cleveland. We're gonna get some drinks and we're gonna get some juice and we're gonna chop this up proper.
Kyle's like, yeah, come through.
Hey, I've never been to Cleveland,
That's love.
so I'm with the shit. We can check the Cavs game.
Well, Bron's not here, so you know.
Oh yeah, is Kevin Love still there?
There's no reason to go there now.
Kevin Love, y'all.
Kevin Love got hurt every season. I'm just saying.
Kevin, come on.
Yo, Shaquille said he's at work right now, so he's got to do some things, and then he'll be back.
Then get off your phone, Shaquille. How about that?
Yeah, Shaquille, how you gonna tell me you want to come through, but you at work, my G?
But going a little bit back to topic about King. During the time of slavery, they always put a woman over the man on the plantation, and in society today, they do the same thing in the black community.
Is that true, Kyle?
Yes.
Where you find that at? I need to look this up.
You can just go and research the times of the plantations.
I've never heard this before.
Because a lot of the people, like there were male overseers, but either they would break them, like they would make them gay, or they put a woman over them.
I'm going to just interject. They wouldn't make them gay. They would just rape them in front of everybody.
You could make someone gay through trauma.
I think that's still just rape.
They call that buck breaking.
Right.
Correct.
So like his
Brazil says, thank you for the $5 super chat, my G. If women never slept with drug dealers or gangsters, there would be no drug dealers and gangsters for the most part.
True.
Because there would be no incentive to keep up their lifestyle.
Men do what women want them to do.
That's why they say, like, in order to control a particular population, you gotta control the women in that population.
Correct. And that goes back to the difference between the 1930s and now with the birth rates of single mothers and feminism in the black community.
Keep going.
The black man never oppressed the black woman. Back in Africa, when a black man got trapped, they didn't have to worry about the woman because that woman would follow him all the way. The bond between man and woman in Africa was very strong. It's not strong here. And a part of
For a reason.
what reason is that?
Several. So it began. So we talked about buck breaking, right? So there's a dynamic that was very intentional, similar to the Willie Lynch intentionality, right? So men were made to seem inferior or inadequate by having them around as your slave masters, or I'll say white people for lack of better other cultural slavery terms, right? While they raped the black women, right? So like black women are in a position of where, oh, you're not protecting me, and a black man is in a position where I can't, because either I'm going to be killed or punished or X, Y, and Z. Then on the flip side of things, you have a black man who is put under these various situations of the buck breaking, like the physical abuse, the emotional, mental abuse, all these things, and we can't help you. So there's this dynamic there that was intentionally put in place to separate us, trickle down through the generations, and you get to today. So like Theoker and I talked about it in our live from a couple weeks ago when I was on, and there's a research around post-traumatic slave syndrome. So if you think of PTSD, that's just your that's the trauma, that's the effects of a single trauma. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome talks about the effects of trauma over years, over generations, and things like that. So I don't think there's a matter of black men and black women, black men not, I'm sorry, I can't remember what you said. Black men don't, what did you say? Black men don't, shoot. I need my chips.
So, question. I got a question for you. Was there slavery anywhere else in the world?
Several other places in the world.
Yeah,
Correct. Okay. So the Jews under Nazi Germany, all right, after World War II, when the Jews came to America, did they prosper? After they just went through some
Were
stuff?
they allowed to acknowledge their trauma and their tribulations? Did they receive reparations in response? Have they received several apologies and holidays and remorse and such, et cetera, et cetera?
The argument about, like, if they were gonna give reparations, that needed to be gave back then. And about building wealth, only the elite build wealth and pass it on. Normal people don't.
That's where you are wrong, my brother, because we talk about fire all the time. There are, I can't remember the percentages, but there are a large number of everyday millionaires in America today.
Correct. But white people didn't gain wealth. The elite gained wealth. There are just as poor white people as there are black people. Like,
okay, no.
A small section of the population passed wealth on.
Okay.
There's the 99% and there's the 1%.
Okay.
Kyle, I think that I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but like there's still like if you were to consider, like if you were to consider like Jewish people, like for example, there's a degree of wealth strategies and tactics that are taught within the Jewish community that has allowed them to prosper in real estate at a rate that is not equal to African Americans in
Agreed.
At all.
It comes down to knowledge. I totally agree with you.
It comes down to knowledge. So and that's what I'm saying. Like if you strip people with the knowledge, if you strip people with and you disable them with taking out a major component and lifeblood in their community, it's tough to come back from that.
I agree with you, but this is the crux of the problem.
Okay.
That same thing has been done to multiple different groups of people across the world, and they have prospered.
We don't know that. Have you traveled abroad to
Listen,
look at
look,
the dynamics of those people?
look at the Irish. The Irish were
I've lived in Ireland for a little while.
the Irish were under English rule. Back when the Irish were, the English wanted to breed them out. Okay, so whenever they would get married, the lord of that town or that area, that region, slept with the wife before the husband did. They were in just as much slavery. They were enslaved for generations.
We're gonna have a larger conversation.
They were
All
enslaved.
right. So listen. So we have Jay Smith down in the chat. I'm gonna introduce you first, real quick, just so we can understand the breadth
You
of the
can
conversation.
you can
Jay Smith, what's good, my G? How are you?
Yo, what's good? You can hear me?
What's good? Yeah, I can definitely hear you. Hold on for 1 second, too. I'm gonna introduce ND Man, MGTOW ND Man. What's good, my G? How are you? Frequenter of the show.
What's up?
How
What's
are
up?
you, my G?
MTR, what is this? MTR radio?
MTR
Sure.
Radio. Listen, you see the fucking mic. You see the boom mic. Don't play with me. You see this shit. Hold on, you see this shit. Don't play with me. Okay. This is what we do. This is what we talk about. We talk about real life shit.
Now tuned into the smooth sounds.
The smooth sounds. And shout out to Kyle. Kyle came through. Salute, Kyle. Salute. And this is the thing. I will always, and again, I will always put in the conversation ideas that may not be on the same wavelength of me. But that's what I do in the conversation. Because without that level of conversation, we can't come to an understanding. That's the reason why we do it. So salute to you, Kyle. Salute to you. That's bravery, bro. That's bravery. So without further ado, I want to make sure we introduce Jay Smith real quick. As we always do with folks that come to the channel. How did you find out about my channel? You know what I'm saying? Like how did you first find out about my channel? If you can explain that, bro.
Yeah, bro. I found out your channel. It came up, in my recommendations. It was a video that you did with I can't remember the shorty's name, but she had like the dreadlocks. It was one of your early videos to a reaction of AMS.
Okay.
Like a command video or something like that. And yeah, from there I got hooked, man. And I've been keeping up with you ever since then.
Listen, man, we're gonna keep on keeping on with the specific conversations in order to push the culture forward, but I also have to enter into the conversation. Shaquille, how are you?
Hey, what's up, MTR? What's up, everyone? How's it going?
Yo, how are you, bro? Like Shaquille, as complimentary, every time that a new person comes onto the channel, we gotta ask, how did you find my channel? And then also, where are you from?
So how I found your channel was I was going through a period of just trying to understand Red Pill and getting my mind set together. And one of your channels came up on a review of another person's channel. And honestly, I really respected that because me personally, everything that I've seen with, especially with this live stream, I've noticed with what Kyle is saying, I really like the fact, and the fact that you bring women on your channel as well. I like the fact that there is a conversation happening. That dynamic really means a lot to me. And honestly, yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, I feel the conversation can solve pretty much anything nowadays, and we don't have that really.
Salute. Now listen, Jay Smith, I had to mute you, bro. It sounded like you got a fucking frog in your pocket, and you're jumping around the fucking room. So I had to mute you, bro. I didn't know what the fuck that shit was, so I had to mute you, bro. Jay Smith, fix that shit.
By the way, I'm from Virginia.
I had Kyle muted because I thought it was Kyle, but it's not Kyle. Kyle, I got you unmuted again, bro. My bad, bro. ND Man has muted himself, and then Shaq is still in the chat. All right, so guys, listen. So I want to understand. So Shaq, apparently you was going in on the chat because you were the people's champ in the chat, and they wanted you to come through and they wanted you to speak your opinion and your thoughts. So just tell us how you feel about the conversation, and we'll go from there.
Hey, that's what's up. Thank you everyone for the support. So a lot of what I'm about to say is gonna be pretty, I think this will get a lot of people heated, but I just want to be honest. A lot of the things that Kyle is saying, I do not disagree with. I'm not gonna lie, I do not disagree with it. MTR, a lot of the things that you've been saying, I actually really do agree with what you say a lot of the times on your not just live streams, but in your videos. I do believe I hate victim mentality. I fucking hate it. It's
Yeah.
trash. And
Preach,
honestly,
preach.
with that being said, I definitely have noticed some inconsistencies here and there when it comes to both sides, right? And for me personally, the only thing that I really truly advocate for is for peace and understanding from all issues, right? So I noticed that even when we switch to a topic from men and women to race, based on what I saw in the comment section, I'm not calling nobody out, but what I am saying is what I noticed in the comment section is that a lot of people were disagreeing with Kyle purely based off of what they assumed his ethnicity was, right? And that's not that's a pretty common thing, right? It happens a lot now. And personally, for me, I feel as though the only way to really be able to solve a lot of the issues going on in this country, whether it comes with men versus women, the race wars, the political wars, and also like religion, is just for people to really be able to just talk. We don't have that anymore. If you even mention your opinion, you're already seen as a bigot, racist, all types of horrible things. And I've always been one to really advocate for some of my friends who are not Black to really speak up and really just say what's on their mind. It's kind of sad that I have friends who will only come to me to talk about their problems because sometimes, they feel as though being a white man who's also straight, they feel as though they are shamed nowadays. And for me to say, no, you're not, I'm pretty much disagreeing with someone else's pain. I don't have the right to really say your pain is less than mine, right? If someone's going through something, and which I definitely have seen in this day and age, the past couple of years, if someone's going through something, we should be willing to listen and be able to hear their perspective. That's something that we're not doing now. And it's more of like shunned if you have an opinion. And there's levels to it, right? It's not just men. There's levels to it. It can go to ethnicity. It can then go to what political party you affiliate yourself with. There's levels to it. And I'm not vibing with that at all. Like, I feel as though if we really want to be able to come together with unity, we're going to have these hard conversations and really be able to hear where other people are coming from without getting butthurt over everything. And I'm not saying no one was getting butthurt here. I'm just saying that me personally in life, I just tell people, yo, stop getting hurt and just listen.
Facts. Yo, facts. And Shaq, it's our first time chatting. And,
Yeah.
And this is the thing is that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order to build a coalition of people that challenge the shit that has been given to us, which is really the crux behind this whole red pill movement, you have put an idea in the air that has allowed us all to come together today and really listen and understand to someone who has different opinions and interjects information that at first you might think to yourself, like deep down within your soul, it don't make a goddamn bit of sense. But when you really critique that shit at a fundamental level, right? At an objective level, it's key to point out these things as we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, let me just get back down real quick. Aaron Floyd, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. All white. I'm doing it like that because there's a Y in that bitch. White people and elite, but all elite are white.
False.
I don't believe in that, Aaron. No, like
don't
from a
believe
numbers
that.
perspective, there's way more poor people in America than any other race, but there's also way more white people in America than any other race.
But just today, the elite are no longer all white, so it's just my issue. Like
Okay.
More cultures have I ate them all. I'm sorry.
God damn!
More cultures have kind of
Take a shot.
Nope, reached into that elite level. But what I will comment on, so Shaq, I think you are 100% correct. Mediocre, I'm glad you chimed in on that as well. You guys are both correct in that you are opening the door to they're tough conversations, right? Because a lot of these issues, these topics, these situations, they're personal, they're emotional, they're visceral almost in times. But I think what we all need to realize is the nuance. So like, there's data there, there's facts there, there's various historical situations that we can chime in on. But I think as we hear these tough conversations and hear the insights of our brothers and sisters, we also need to keep in mind the nuances of their experience. So me, as the Black woman, I can't completely understand the nuances of you being a Black man. I cannot completely understand the nuances of Kyle being a white man. I just can't. There are nuances that you guys, both Black and white, Shaq, I'm sorry, I don't know your ethnicity. There are nuances that you don't know that I experience as a Black woman. So I think as we listen to these and have these very tough conversations, that we also have a level of compassion and emotional intelligence to understand and hear, and also be receptive to the nuance that we may not know exists.
Honestly, wait, your name is Des, right?
Yes.
Okay. One, thank you. I appreciate for your comment, but I will also say yes, I am a Black man.
Can I speak, or
I am a Black man.
are you still waiting for someone else?
Huh?
Who's
Kyle.
That's
Kyle.
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm more of a pink color than a white color.
You said what color? Pink.
I'm more of a pink color, or like a.
I'm pink and tan, Kyle.
Or like a beige. But
he's beige too.
So
I am beige as well, Kyle. Go ahead, bro.
I wanna ask you a question to get you thinking. All right. So has anyone ever heard of Section 8?
Yes. I'm very familiar.
Okay. So Section 8 would be low income, right?
Correct.
So what is Section 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1?
Great question.
No clue.
Okay. Do you know that when the Italians first came to America, they were considered to be Black?
Why?
Because Black and white are not races, they're classes. That's why LeBron James gets money and he's not treated as a Black man. The white and Black narrative is colors.
LeBron James also had the N-word spray painted on his house not too long ago. I'm not really sure where we're going here, Kyle.
Yeah. How could you take race out of how you identify LeBron?
Because it's about, like, it goes back to class and money. That, like, you get treated a certain way based on your status and money.
So
the
Kyle,
people that are beneath that are in this. We're all in this. We're all crabs. We're all crabs.
Mm-hmm.
So when we fight over race, we're fighting with each other, and we're losing what's going on. Like that. Like that's the point. The division with us, we hold the power with the vote. We actually hold the power of this country. But when Black folks and white folks can't get into a civil conversation or a civil view, just look at how polarized the Republican and Democrats are versus each other. Like, you can't get nothing accomplished with the discussion if you're always putting Black, white, Republic, like it's division. How do you conquer a country?
So let me ask you a question, Kyle, and I want to hear your perspective in the fullest way that I possibly can. How do we come together? How do we divide ourselves in a way to push a common goal? Because we're used to dividing based off of the color of our skin. And what I think what you're highlighting is that it could be a little bit different. So how would you, if you was in the solution pen, if someone said to you, how would you divide that? How would that be?
Because this is what I would say. It comes down to personal choice. It comes down to personal accountability. I'm not saying to forget about the past, but to live so far in the past, you are missing the present. Like, at the end of the day, bad stuff happens to people, but bad stuff happens to everyone. We're not in those times. And if you change your mindset, things will change for you. It's just how it is.
Can I jump in quick?
Go ahead.
So, Kyle, I just have a question for you. Would you not say that this most recent election negates your statement that the power is with the people? So, like, if I'm not mistaken, Hillary won with the popular vote, but was still not elected president, right? So,
Because the
He
electoral
won the
college.
electoral college. He
Trump.
won the electoral college. That's the election.
That's the election.
Who is speaking? I can't tell.
I don't know who was that. No, it wasn't Shaq. It was Andy Man, I think.
Indy Man, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
You said what now? I couldn't hear him. Sorry.
He won the electoral college. That's the purpose of electoral college, so that one populated area would not overshadow a less populated area. That was why it was set up.
So it's less of a reflection of the people who voted and more.
It is a perfect example of the people. The perfect example of the people. It's meant to make it fair for all states. A state like California cannot dictate all the rules.
If you take California and New York, and I forget the other state, if all three of those states vote for a president, none of the other states can get enough votes to make them a president.
Right, and so the electoral
Exactly.
college is a representative. It's comprised of representatives of those states, correct?
Exactly.
So the vote of the people, and correct me if I'm wrong, which is the popular vote,
We're a
was
republic.
won by Clinton, where the electoral college vote went to Trump. So the people voted Clinton, where the representatives of those people.
No, they did not. They voted for Trump.
Who?
The people.
No. So let me be the whose baby is that? Kyle, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle. Let me. I'm gonna put you on hold real quick. Kyle, if you want to say something, just let me know down in the chat real quick, because there was a lot of there's a lot of baby noises and shit going on. So I think if we're talking about electoral college vote versus popular vote, I think if I remember correctly, Hillary won the popular vote, but the electoral college vote was won by Trump.
Correct.
So, but the thing is like the popular vote is popular, so it's based on a popularity. Electoral college, there's other checks and balances put in place in a way where, so listen, you know, and I'm keeping it funky. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. There's a lot of people who write to me in my comment sections, and I always say to myself, damn, they're allowed to vote. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it always
I know. I'm at work. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it always makes me think like, fuck, you have the same voting amount that I have. Irrespective of what your thoughts are, like irrespective of your level of intellect, your IQ, you have the same power that I do, unless you choose not to vote. You know what I'm saying? So I get why the electoral college has been established, and it's for those that are more plugged in. Folks that are more plugged in to detail where the future of our society goes. I get why that's happening. I forget the original point. Kyle, I'm gonna unmute you. Hopefully the baby situation. Okay, it sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
What it comes down to, though, is we're a republic, and the electoral college was part of the checks and balances because the founding fathers saw they tried to do everything they could to stop tyranny. And that's what it was put in 1803, I believe. So it's been around forever. And the Democrats only complain about stuff when it doesn't work to their advantage. Like, that's just how it goes.
But that's every party. That's all the parties.
Kyle, can I ask your thoughts on this? Right. So I think you do a good job of attempting or bringing points in to equate everybody, right? Outside of race, class, what have you. What are your thoughts around more whites are treated similarly or the same as average to elite black?
Well, technically, like the only person you can criticize now is the white man.
Why?
Have you seen media?
Yeah, I agree with Kyle.
Like
Honestly,
feminism is
I don't know
saying
who's talking about.
Facts.
I still
Facts.
don't
He's right
understand
about that.
Yeah.
like listen, you can't say nothing about the gays. You can't say nothing about the women. You can't say anything about minorities. The only people that you can call for their death, call to give up their property, like the only thing you can say that's bad to anyone
Is
these
white
days
men.
is white men.
Yeah, he's right.
Like
Does that answer my question?
I don't know. What was your?
it does. Like if with your question, I'm going to assume that majority of people are treated better than white men are at this time because they're the only people that you can talk shit about.
I can't argue with him. Yeah, you can go sufficiently on a white man, and there's no one else that will not step up and take the place of what that.
Like,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. You can talk
But-
all the shit that you want.
listen, you can call a white man racist, and if he says anything, he's like it only verifies.
But Kyle, I'm gonna ask you a very clear and coherent question. But do white men deserve it? I mean, let's keep it funky. Let's keep it abhorrently funky.
Okay,
Let me answer that. The answer is no. If we're supposed to be fair and intelligent and give everybody a free voice, you can't simply just say, "Well, all white men just deserve to be shit on." That's
that's
you
biased.
can't do that.
I
That's
actually
like
agree
saying,
with that as
"Oh,
well.
well, O.J. Simpson killed somebody, so black people kill people." Like that, you can't. That's a better correlation.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Let's not.
You're saying that white people deserve it, or asking the question, but slavery was 150 years ago. Jim Crow was 60
I'm not
years ago.
saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, and let me just be more coherent and clear. It's not about you deserving it, but I'm saying, like, listen, there's been layers of shit put in the place of those that look like us for the sake of looking like us. Right? I'm not saying you specifically. That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, like if Kyle, if we ever met up somewhere, we're gonna dap the fuck up. We're gonna hug. We're gonna have a beer, and it's gonna be love. I'm not talking about the relations between me and you, but I mean the cultural relationship between the two.
But that's
Because of systematic oppression, because of the controlled uh relinquishing of the black man in the community in the society, right? Like we should not be forgiving of all of those things, just apparently, because all of a sudden you feel pressure. All of a sudden you feel pressure.
It's not about feeling
style.
It's not about feeling pressure. Okay, I got a question. If you went outside right now and you robbed a liquor store, should I put your girlfriend in jail because she's dating you?
You're not addressing what I was saying earlier.
I am. My people doing stuff 50 years ago has nothing to do with white people today. They're not alive.
But I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if Kyle and MTR got together in a room, we're gonna dap, shake hands, and this shit is like it's gonna be nothing but love. And we both understand that. But what I'm saying is that, but you also cannot negate the ideal, like the idea of police brutality. You cannot negate the ideal of, because I have friends that have had planted on them. I've had motherfuckers try to plant shit on me. I've had motherfuckers try to plant shit on me. But you cannot negate all of that there was an idea of systematic oppression and the bringing down of those that look like.
Okay, so the police is a different thing. The police does that to everyone. They plant stuff on everyone. That's a power thing. That's not a race thing. There was just a sheriff that got arrested, got caught planting meth on an old lady. Like, that's a power thing. It's not a race thing.
I do want to say one thing.
Power corrupts.
In my
It
opinion,
doesn't
this is
matter
just
what
my
race you
opinion.
are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna 100% agree with Kyle, but I'm not gonna 100% agree with you either, MTR. Me personally, how I see it is, regardless of race, whether the cops come at Black people more or they come at any other ethnicity more, at the end of the day, regardless of whichever side it is, it's still not fair. I mean, I could be able to have that
I got a
conversation with
question
one of
for
my
you.
friends. Huh? Oh, I thought someone was talking. It's okay to have that conversation with one of my friends who's white and be like, hey, this is how I'm
You guys
feeling,
there?
right? But to automatically say because of systematic oppression, which I'm iffy about, I'm 50-50 about, I remember Kyle was talking about it earlier, and I kind of agree with what Kyle was saying, but I feel like there's some levels to it. Almost every conversation we're going to have, there's levels to it. There's
Liam,
never a
stop.
black and white situation. There's always gray. And so with that being said, just because, say hypothetically cops plant shit on Black people more, and let's say all the cops are white, I'm not going to then blame my friends or have some type of disgust like internally towards other white people because of what someone else did. I have to at least treat every single person like a brother in a sense, right? And I see where Kyle was coming from with that example, saying that in this day and age, let's say hypothetically, someone was to get robbed by a Black person, right? And I'm not 100%, I won't say 100% I'm correct on this, but I do believe that based off statistics, they do say Black on Black crime is pretty big. And so with that being said, I don't think if, let's say there was a Black person who robbed a white person, would it be fair for them to now have this internal disgust or internal situation within them? Because I think disgust is a strong word, but internal situation within them now saying that the next time I see a Black person, I should automatically be wary, or I should automatically have this type of distrust. I don't think that's really fair, because you're now already telling that person they've lost even before them entering into your life, right? You're going to dap up Kyle, but if you had that inner situation within you, you technically have already internally have your eyes against Kyle, going like, whoa, I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah. Listen, so just real quick, we have a new entrant into the stream, Lawrence guy. What's good, my G? How are you?
How you guys doing? Can everybody hear me?
You're a little bit low, my G. If you have the opportunity to turn up your mic on your headphones, say something.
How about that?
Okay, yeah, I could definitely hear you a little bit better. If you can turn it up just like a little bit more, it will be optimal. However, we can still hear you right now.
All right.
Lawrence, guys, your first time on the chat, my G. I just wanted to quickly ask you before we get started. And this is ceremonious with everyone that comes on to the chat. How did you first hear about my channel?
Well, this is my second time. I was here 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit, my bad, my G. Sometimes I start drinking on Red Cup Talk and then I forget what the fuck happened.
No, it's fine. Actually, you guys were making fun of me because you couldn't see my picture because I was at work.
Oh, this is the fucking reason. Yeah, I would have remembered this shit. You know what I mean? Well, salute, my G. Listen, do you have any opening arguments that you wanted to toss up based on what you've been hearing?
Actually, yes. But first, before I start that, I want to say salute to everybody.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? It's good to see y'all in a spirited conversation. I like it.
Nice to meet you, Lawrence.
Salute, bro.
And hey, Des, good to see you again as well.
Hi, Lawrence.
Okay. Here's my take on a few things. I like Kyle. I like you, Kyle. I do. I think your heart's in a good place. I think a lot of your stats are decent. But I think maybe there's a little misinterpretation on some of them. Just on the last thing you guys said before I came in, about whether or not what white men are going through is earned or deserved or something along those lines. And I've got to be honest with you. It's been going on for about 10, 20 years with you guys now. You're talking about something we've been living with for decades, centuries, where one of us does something and we're all guilty. If we can bear it, so can you. That's just my take on it.
Do you mind if I could say something real quick to Lawrence? Being a black man, I can kind of understand where you're coming from with that. But I do want to say just two things. One, I want to say I see where you're coming from, but two wrongs have never made a right. And that's kind of always, that's what I'm seeing with a lot of the situations going on in this world, whether it's politics, religion, gender, race. Two wrongs have never made a right. And if we never liked how it was treated for us, I don't think we should do that towards others. And again, that's just my opinion. And the second thing I want to say is, oh, sorry, give me 1 second. Second thing I want to say is, what's up, Keith? I see you in that chat. Thank you for telling MTR to add me onto the stream. And another thing is, I feel like Red Pill is, because I know he mentioned about Red Pill. Now that I've gotten more into Red Pill in general, I think Red Pill doesn't just have to deal with gender, but I see a lot of people. I think we all have heard of Candace Owens. She also talks about Red Pill in the political sense, right? Going from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party, or being liberal to conservative, right? I think Red Pill just means awareness. And so I know there's a lot of people in the chat that I'm seeing going, well, we've gone away from Red Pill. But I do want to say that Red Pill is kind of a broader sense of things. But I do appreciate MTR and everyone in the chat who's still, here and hosting this and talking about this, because it's needed. That's just my perspective on it.
Well, in response to that, the first thing is that I absolutely agree with you. Two wrongs don't make it right. I agree with you 100%. However, we're not the ones controlling the narrative. And as I said before, it's not a good thing for anybody, any group. But again, at the end of the day, this is only a slight taste of what we've dealt with. And truth be told, what's being said where white men are concerned, I dislike. I absolutely dislike. I mean, my family is made up of Asians, Jews, white, Irish, you name it. We got it. So I get where Kyle's coming from. But again, at the same time, this ain't as bad as it could be in reference. And I mean, using us as a reference.
Exactly, Lawrence.
As far as it goes,
that's exactly what it is. But the lesson we should have learned is that we can't be doing that. We have to stop.
No, I agree with you.
We're supposed to judge people on their character, not on what had happened before in the past.
No, and I absolutely agree with you. I don't disagree at all. I'm just stating what the current situation is and the facts of it. I mean, do I like it? No, but it is what it is. And like I said, that's not making an excuse for anybody, but this is the time frame we're living in, and this is what's going on with them. Now, for those of us who do speak up, and I have on many occasions, and I'm sure you guys probably have as well, this is not a right thing to do. But what we're saying falls on deaf ears. And that's literally the case right now. It falls on deaf ears. So the question becomes is, again, like I said, this is minor in comparison to what we had to do. So you take what we do, you put your head down, you keep it moving, and you do what you got to do, and you avoid those situations that put you in a bad spot. It's what we've had to do for centuries. And like I said, I'm not making an excuse, and I'm not saying it's right, because it most definitely is not. Because you should treat, because that's what that's what Martin fought for, to be chosen by character, not color. But at the end of the day, this is what we got. So you got to find a way to deal with it. That's just all there is to it. That's fact.
And Lawrence, I will say,
I don't really care if people say things about white males. The question was, are rich black men treated better than white people? At the end of the day,
no.
I have tough skin.
No,
I don't really care. I don't really care. Like at the end of the day, it is what it is. But only 5% of the population controlled slaves at the time, or owned slaves. So to broad stroke, like a small minority of people in America, which some were Indian and some were black, to all white people, it's just it's bad. The same argument that black people talk about now about being stereotyped as a thief or a criminal or a drug dealer, the same argument that's made there is, well, that's not all of us. That's a small minority. It's the same argument.
True.
Like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's just that simple. If you don't want to be put like that, then you shouldn't do the same thing.
True.
Now, personally, I don't care. Like, I have face tats. I'm a multiple-time felon. I grew up in the hood. It doesn't matter to me. My son's mixed. But the only people in America that you can talk crap about is white men, because females are considered to be a minority, white or black, even though they make up more than us.
So,
my bad.
so like, let me just interject real quick, and I'm gonna ask you guys a question.
We can't hear we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah. So I agree with you, Kyle. Like in the sense that, like, yeah,
I can't hear him.
we can continue. Can everyone else hear me? Or am I
Yes.
mute?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
I got you. I got you. I'm good.
Okay, dope. So yeah, and the thing is like, you know, when you're a part of the like of what is identified as the majority, then that is synonymous within that. Is that, you know, you can poke up, but there's a problem with poking down. And I think that you understand that, Kyle. I think that you can feel that there's a problem with the poking down, but people can poke up no matter what your dissonance to the culture actually is. The poking up will always be a component of our society. But if you're a cisgendered white male, you are considered the majority, and that's just what it is right now. But getting back on subject of the original content of the conversation, because we got to away from the pink pill shit. The topic of Gayle. Like, Kyle, I want to start with you real quick, I'm not sure if you were in the conversation as early as what it was when we were talking about Gayle King's comments as what it relates to Kobe. I want to start with you, Kyle. If you have an assertion based off of the way that she conducted herself, and I'm going to go around the table to see how we all feel about it. But Kyle, I just want to hear, what was your feeling towards that? Because I feel like you had an assertion that she was being controlled by not necessarily race, but it was like money superiority, socioeconomic superiority. So I just want to hear how you think about that, and then I want to go around the table so we can dissect what you think.
MTR. Kyle posted in the group chat, and I don't think you can hear it.
Oh shit! Kyle must have me muted. He must have me muted or some shit. Okay, so anyway, so even if it's not even Kyle, can anyone talk towards the Gayle King situation and provide additional light onto how they feel about it outside of what I said?
Well, speaking for me, my only feeling is I don't agree with it. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't agree with it. I think it was in bad taste, bad form. Because she fell into the category like everybody else before her. The man's barely been put in the ground, you know, and you're just trying to bring up stuff to slander somebody, or you know, or put a negative spin on it, which is not necessary at all.
Right.
Now, whether the case is true, whether the case is not true, is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is a man just died tragically at that, and with a child. There's a time and a place for everything, and that is not acceptable to me. I also think that when you have a tendency to want to bring up certain kinds of things about successful Black men, I notice they have a tendency, and I could be wrong, but I notice they have a tendency to use Black women to do those talking points. And I don't appreciate that either, because whether or not somebody put her up to it, she's a grown woman. She's a strong, independent Black woman, as they like to say. She could have said no.
Right.
That's just my take on it.
So my perspective on the whole thing is, as you guys will probably know, is I'm more of like a 50-50 type of person in general. I don't like making clear blanket statements unless I know who Gayle is or anything in life. That's just, unless I'm there and I'm actually in that situation, I can't 100% say yes or no. But I will say, from my perspective, I kind of and here's one thing. A lot of people who have the outrage, I understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people did their due diligence to at least watch the entire thing. So that's my only thing. I think people should at least watch it before jumping into conclusions, because that's just what the media does. They like to have a shock value. However, my perspective on it is it's 50-50. And the reason I say that is because Gayle did one, it was way too short. So yes, I do understand that it was way too soon, but this is still a part of Kobe's life. Like, we can't just ignore it. And regardless of whether it happened or not, I think where my issue was with what Gayle said was when she doubled down on her, I forgot the woman's name, I think Leslie, but she doubled down on her and saying like, hey, you won't notice this because you're his friend. However, that's what got me a little agitated. And the reason I say that is because I understand why she asked those questions. The media, depending on where you go, a lot of people have been talking about Kobe and bringing up these allegations. She's not the first person. So I think based on what she made it seem like, she made it seem as though it was more of like, hey, since the other media is doing it, let's have a conversation like we're doing right now. Let's have a conversation right now about whether it is right or wrong for the media to do this, since she is a part of the media, right? So she has a different type of perspective, and she knows what the other media outlets are doing. She wants to know from a friend's perspective, but outside of a friend's perspective, is it right morally? And I think that is what she was trying to get to. I think she was just trying to see if it's right. And with her answer, that can probably be a definite answer for all media outlets to just be like, okay, after watching this interview, we now know that we should probably just chill out on this whole Kobe thing. I think she was just trying to get to the nitty gritty, because it's going to be a hard conversation. Des, like you said earlier, these type of conversations are hard. A lot of conversations in life are hard. And I think with that conversation, it really was like, let's get to the nitty gritty so we can have a definite answer on whether we should talk about this in the future or if we should just nip it in the butt right now and never bring it up. And I think that was her goal. However, at the same time, when she came from that perspective and said, hey, do you think, Leslie, that the media should still talk about this, even though it's a part of his past? I like Leslie's answer. She said, outside of being his friend, you know, because I think when we're friends, we can be biased, right? So when she said outside of being his friend, I noticed that Kobe was a great person. Outside of that, his personality was there, and she showed examples. She showed, in a sense, proof on why he was such a great person and against all that other stuff. What my issue was that fact that she brought it back into the bias of, well, you wouldn't see that because that's your friend, right? She kind of neglected every aspect that she tried to say outside of the friendship of why Kobe is such a great person and why she does not believe that this should be held against them. And then Gayle said, well, it's because you're your friend. You're already biased. So I'm going to negate everything you just said, even though I'm the one who asked you that question. And with that being said, that's what kind of got me a little weirded out. But again, I can't fully say anything because I didn't watch the entire thing. And honestly, I understand where Snoop and 50 and all these other people are coming from. That is your boy. That's your friend. You have the right to support him. That's loyalty right there. Loyalty 101. If you don't ride with your nigga, then what are you like? What's up, right? But I still feel as though the way they came at her, it was a little too harsh, especially when Snoop started calling her the B word and all this other stuff, right? It was a little uncalled for, because now I noticed that he got more on the emotional end than the logical end. And that's basically all I had to say about that. I would have to say it's a 50-50 for me. I see both sides.
Okay.
Well,
Respect, Shaq.
well, the interesting part about, actually, you know what? Nobody else has spoken yet. I'll let them go. Sorry.
Go ahead, bro. Go in, bro. The highlights on you.
Speaking as someone who did watch the entire thing, okay, and even if I go your route with 50-50, here's the problem. Whether you come at it logically or emotionally, the point of the matter is that wasn't the time. Okay, you wait until after everything smooths down, and everybody's in a proper place to be able to have that discussion without it being emotional. Number two, if you're saying that you're going to sit there and ask questions about the man's legacy in his life, then why would you only focus on the negative when he's done a whole lot of positive? You could have done both. As a journalist, she has a responsibility for professional integrity. Okay. And every good interviewer, from Barbara Walters, before her, after her, and anybody else, male or female, have always told you there's a right time for a question and there's not, and you got to feel out the moment. And
Facts.
the fact that Gayle asked her the first time and she tried to sidestep it and brush it off politely, Gayle went in for it again. That was unnecessary. So at the end of the day, to me, the only impression I got was that it was a hit piece and trying to use one of his friends to do it. There's no other way I can interpret that.
So, Lawrence,
Yeah.
I was going to say that with what you just said, I respect it, and I didn't even watch it, so I don't really have much of a right to really say anything. You watched it, so I'm going to take your word for it. If she didn't say the positives, because I remember she had like on Twitter or something, some social media, she released a video saying, "Hey guys, I'm sorry. We did talk about the positive and the negative." I assumed that she was talking about the positive because of that video, but if she didn't talk about the positive and only talked about the negative, then I 100% see where you're coming from, and now I feel a little bit different.
That positive, I can honestly sit here and tell you that positive, if you were lucky, was a minute. If you were lucky.
Then with that being said,
go watch it if you want, but I didn't get anything out of it. I really didn't.
Then with that being said,
like I said, from my perspective, she tried to ambush Leslie. That's my interpretation. And not only that, but seriously speaking, if you look at her history, both independently and in association with Oprah, that is her style. That is her style. She likes putting people in the corner and coming at them with blindsiding them. And like I said, even if that was the case, even if she did want to have that conversation, removing emotion out of it and everything, there's a time and a place for all of it. Let the family grieve. Let the man be buried. You can come back afterwards and do a retrospective if you like and talk all you want about it. But the fact of the matter is that wasn't the time or the place. And in addition to that, if you had anything to say, you talk to his family. Why are you going to go to a friend on the side?
I mean, facts, 100%. And again, I don't really have much to say about that. If you are right about that 1 minute of positivity, then I got nothing else to say, because honestly, again, I didn't watch it, so I'll take your word on it. But for your first point, I'm not going to disagree with you at all, but I do want to throw in devil's advocate or throw out a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Is there a possibility that, because she also said that she was friends with Kobe, is there a possibility that because all the other media outlets were talking about, there were a lot of media outlets talking about the negative parts of Kobe and stuff like that, and a lot of people felt indifferent. They didn't know which side to choose, whether it should be, let's, praise his legacy for all the great he's done, or should we still talk about the negative parts? And I feel as though Gayle was saying, and again, I'm going based off what she said in an apology video. She was saying that because I'm friends with him, because I knew him, I also wanted to get another friend of his so we can make this video a video where we can just squash it. This is the video that everyone will come to because we are his actual friends. We actually knew him. If we make a decision in this video, it stands for everybody, because I feel like everyone was so unsure about it with all the other media outlets coming out about it. Am I saying that that what she did was right? Fuck no, I'm not. Like I said, I was 50-50, but now I'm leaning more towards you, Lawrence, because again, you actually watched it. Well, but I just want to throw that perspective out there, as well as saying that maybe that was where she was coming from. But yeah, she should have waited a lot longer. I think everyone should have waited a lot longer. He literally just died, and I think the saddest part about it was that they are trying to tarnish his. I don't know if you guys saw a Fear Shaper or whatever the comedian's name is, but there's this comedian who went to a city that Kobe was supposed to originally go and play for before he went to the Lakers, and literally a couple hours after he died, he was laughing and saying, yeah, fuck Kobe, and this is great that he died. He was a loser to begin with, and all his other horrible things. And he wasn't the only person. So do I believe people should have waited longer? Yes. I thought it was absolutely horrible that anyone can actually do that to Kobe and the many people that were on that plane. Let's not forget that there were other people who died, and they deserve to be, cherished. They didn't deserve any of that.
I wanna hop in there real quick. The gentleman's name here, and he is he's a troll, like at the very core of what a troll means. So I don't know if it's good to use him as an example. He's trolled time and time before, but he did it in a way before where he didn't get the limelight that he did. So I'm not sure if you can use Ari Shaffir as a way to be able to do that. He's also somebody who, if you watch the Joe Rogan podcast, and I do because I aspire for Joe Rogan numbers one day. Salute everybody that's in the chat right now.
Facts.
He also drugged one of his best friends recently. This is like a month ago, 2 months ago. He drugged one of his best friends and gave them ecstasy. One was, I think it was it Tony Hinchcliffe? It's one of them motherfuckers in that whole Joe Rogan crew. He drugged one of them, and in his house with his family there, and then they did a podcast. So like, to compare that type of personality trait, as someone who is doing good, like it's hard for me to come up to that conclusion. It's hard for me to come there. Guys, listen, we are 3 hours and 20 minutes in. I want to make sure to capture everyone's perspective as we go down into this. Kyle, I know we was missing out on your comments. I don't know what was happening with the technology, but you exited and you came back in. So we're going to try your audio in a second, but I also wanted to acknowledge Gary Grant. Thank you so much for the 10 Canuck bucks. There was no reason for her to bring up allegations towards anybody. There were no facts in them. When women do things and we try to find ways to save them from themselves, she was wrong. Period.
I agree.
I cannot argue with that. And Des, I want to hear your perspective, because as being the only person on this panel that does not have a Y chromosome.
I just want to be careful of the generalization, right? So don't get me wrong. I'm aligned to the narrative that this young lady in this particular instance was incorrect. She was wrong. There's data and transcripts and information out there for that situation. I just want to be careful and mindful that when we say, when women do things, we try to find ways to save them, that we're mindful of the women who have brought up allegations against powerful men who were guilty and lost those cases. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong, like, I do understand that with this Kobe case is a little bit different. I just want us to also be mindful of those women who have lost to powerful men.
Oh, nobody denies that.
What's up, bro?
No, I said nobody denies that at all. At least no one with any proper frame of mind. I mean,
right.
Seriously,
that's why you're my guy, Lawrence.
I mean, there are real victims out there, and
absolutely,
and that's the problem when you end up with people in situations like this with Kobe or Amber Heard with Johnny Depp and so on and so forth. It's damaging to those who really need the help, who really need to fight. But that being said, no one's challenging whether or not the woman is telling the truth or not. What we're talking about is how Gayle performed. And that's all I'm here to talk about. And as far as it goes for Gayle, then we don't need to make excuses for her. We don't need to help her out. We don't need to help her backpedal. She was wrong. End of story. You got to accept it for what it is.
Lawrence, my response was just directly in response to the previous comment.
So let me. I want to do a round table. I want to do a round table for folks that are still listening and those that are contributing to the conversation. Is there any forgiveness for Gayle? If you can give a response, everybody that's in the table right now. I'm gonna start with Jay Smith. Is there any is there a response that we can allow for forgiveness, Jay Smith, from your perspective, bro? Oh, nigga, are you just not there? ND man, from your perspective, is there any forgiveness?
No.
Just no.
Because I think that she did it. I think she did just to be, to get headlines. And so, yeah.
Okay, it was just a headline.
I guess. Right, just a headline play for her.
Okay. All right. So we got a no from ND man. Shaq, you awake, bro? Okay, he's not. Lawrence.
That'd be a hard no.
Hard no. No forgiveness. So she's forever canceled.
Well, I wouldn't.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Wait. Who said that? Is that Shaq?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
bro.
Oh, okay.
But what I was saying, I'm sorry. Give me one second, Shaq. My reasoning has nothing to do with cancel culture or anything like that. The reason I'm saying a hard no is because she hasn't learned from the other times she has done it. See, one time is an accident. Okay. Second time, coincidence. 3 times, it's not right plan to me. Okay. Right. And this is not the first time she's done that. Either her or Oprah, for that fact of the matter. So no, it's a hard no for me. You're not learning, and you don't care.
Lawrence, I want to ask you a question. When Oprah comes out with the Russell Simmons documentary, are you gonna watch that shit? Yes or no?
No, hell no.
Damn.
Why do I want to sit and watch another black man be degraded by her? Why would I do that? You got to understand, Oprah's been doing this since the 80s.
What if Russell Simmons actually was sexually assaulting women though?
Then he gets due process, and he goes to court and trial like anybody else. Public opinion trials don't matter to me.
But you are public opinion. You are public opinion. So if you don't allow the facts to be shown, how can you have the complete idea of what might have happened in that situation to more inform how you and people that you talk to think about it?
Well, first of all, I need to make a slight correction for you because
talk to me, bro.
I never said anything about letting the facts be shown. I just said I wouldn't watch it.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, that's facts, bro.
Yeah, I just said I wouldn't watch it. I mean, if they want to air it and people want to watch it, then knock themselves out. Me personally, no, I'm not watching it. Like I said, I don't need her to tell me. I need to see a judge, a jury, and the facts. That's all I need.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you got a videotape for me to look at. I mean, outside of that, I got nothing for you, because other than that, you're doing the same thing I'm doing, just talking.
Facts. All right, last in the chamber, Kyle. Yo, is your audio working, bro? I think your audio is not working, bro. Oh man, I don't know what happened, man. We can't hear you, bro.
MCR. I was gonna
Who's
give
that?
you Shaq.
Oh, Shaq, what up, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. I think Kyle, something happened with Kyle's audio.
I wanted to say my answer. I'll say my answer is, again, I'm 50-50. I have to watch the video to be able to give a proper answer. I think that's only fair to Gayle and whoever, but I have heard coming for black men a very long time. So I'm leaning towards a no, but I still want to give my due diligence after I watch the actual video and give Gayle a chance at least.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't see any harm in that.
Yeah, the thing is like I think that they go for whatever is the most profitable. Like they go for the stories, they go for men because it's profitable, because at the end of the day, they get clicks off of women that want to bash us. Like they get clicks off of that shit. And that is ever more true now. And then Des, talk to me. Like, I know, like, I want your opinion, because we say shit from time to time, but in order to get a woman's perspective as we talk about this shit, I think it's important. Right? Like, I feel like there's so many products in our society that are sold to women. I feel like there's so much ideas that are sold to women. I feel like even in looking at an idea like this and to say, like, you know, Kobe life was taken from him. And to have this focus, to have this focus that, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that happened years ago when he was a much younger young man. And for him to admit that, like, my idea of consensual sex is different than her idea. And for me to have a story that I upload on this channel where that was taken advantage of, right? Like, in the idea of, and knowing me, you know how I operate. We've been around each other for a minute. And you know I'm not a creep, you know I'm not a weirdo, but I still had these allegations that was put on me for at least a little bit of
Funny thing
of
is,
time.
I've had to defend you against some of these funny accusations and allegations.
Which is crazy, because they just assume, like, they just look at me and just assume, like, there's a I gotta watch out for him. Like, oh, around him, I gotta make sure that I'm okay. Like, it's just like, what are you talking about?
So it's funny because just kind of that instant realization or kind of remembrance of that makes me even more compassionate towards Lisa Leslie in her response to Gayle's interview questions, right? So as a woman who knows a good Black man, of course I'm going to go to bat, because I know of the countless, instances. I know of the narrative that's being pushed. So it's not that I'm trying to save face for, like, Kobe Bryant. It's not that I'm trying to save face for MTR. I know you as a person. I know you from experience. I know your spirit. I know.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
yes,
I can.
Kyle, we can hear you. So I'm
y'all hear me?
Going to
I can hear you.
Speak up to that as a positive representation as a Black man, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to forgiving Gayle, I think we have to. So I think in terms of the pushing the narrative and growing the culture, we have to, because for what reason, she is a woman who has the ear of the industry. So we're going to need her buy-in to push the narrative, to push more positive conversations and drive more positive and productive conversations of Black culture later. Now she made a mistake. She took this L. Like, we are.
Can you guys hear her?
She took a big L. I think we have to forgive Gayle because she's learning, right? She's learning that you can't choose the elite, the power, the industry over your people. You can't choose the elite, the powerful over integrity and justice, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I can't.
We have to forgive Gayle in the long run of the situation, because again, she has this platform. We're going to need her to take this as a lessons learned and promote the next man, to promote the next whoever, protect their legacy, and say, hey, I think one of your earlier subscribers made a comment of, this is a footnote in this man's legacy. Aside from what happened, dismissals, acquittals, what have you, this is a footnote in this man's greater legacy.
Okay. I would like to make a comment.
But see,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, who was that?
That's Jay Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Smith. I'm sorry.
I my bad, bro, with the issues. I just wanted to say, I agree with the brother Lawrence. Gayle has shown time and time again that she's full of shit. She has constantly been trying to chase after the prestige that Oprah has gotten, which she'll never get. But at the same time, I do believe that there has to be forgiveness for her, because that is one of our own, speaking as a Black man. And it's unfortunate that these situations come up, and the things that she said, and when she said it, the timing was just totally, it was totally wrong. But I just hope that it is an eye opener for Black men to see that we have to get our shit together, and we have to get on one accord, and we have to start setting the standards if we're supposed to be the leaders of our own community. In order to do that, we're going to have to unite with one another.
Okay.
And like I said, I just see so much. Like when I watch MTR's channel, he puts up a lot of great content, but it's going to come a point where we have to stop worrying about what the woman is doing and get our shit together first.
And Jay, love it. I agree 100%. And if it's a question, if it's a question of coming together and leadership, then that means leadership has to make the hard choices. And the hard choices is that she doesn't get a pass. She's got a history of doing this. She's proven at every opportunity she will take it. So as far as I'm concerned, being a leader, she goes to the guillotine. We're done. You're not going to sit here from the 80s all the way up until now with your girlfriend by your side and dog us all out, and then suddenly you think just because you got caught this time in a bad place, you want to apologize and we just gonna let you pass. There has to come a point that if we're going to be leaders, we have to be actual leaders. We have to put people in their places. We have to let them know we are done here. You can't come with us where we're going because you've already shown us who you are.
Is there a chance
just
that we could?
Just real quick, I want to address some of the super chats that I seen come through. Des, is your bladder uncomfortable? We gotta. I just want to address some of the super chats that's coming in real quick. Jason, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. FBI cleared Russell Simmons. I didn't hear news about that. That's probably exceptionally true. Which is maybe part of the reason why. Because I feel like the Russell Simmons documentary was done, and then Oprah said, no, let's there's some things in here that are a little bit weird. And then Russell thought that was a victory within that. So it'd be interesting to see, was the FBI clearing him a component of that? I don't know, Jason, you let us know. The next super chat, TD Hutch, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Her platform was never for us. Is that true? Gayle's platform was never for us, folks that look like us. There's a component of that I can agree, and I feel like there were words that came from Kyle tonight that would say that is so, because we are not amongst the elite. Kyle thinks that we're using components of white supremacy to block the actual problems, to as a smoke screen of what is the actual shit that's going on. Now, Kyle, I know you've been without a voice for a little while as your technology has been a little bit shifty. However, have you been hearing the conversation, bro? And how do you feel about the things that are happening right now?
I've heard some of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel the whole reason that she ended up doing that was for two purposes. One, it fits the communist view of the oppressor and the oppressed, which with the feminist movement, they've been pushing men as the oppressor and women as the oppressed. And that's part of the reason why sexual assault has been moved into like this vast all-catching thing. And that's why like two people can be a man and a woman and both be drunk, but the man's at fault. To help push this narrative, because if you bring, just like in the garden, the serpent got to Adam through Eve. If you get to the women, you're gonna get to the man, because most men aren't gonna buy into stupid stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that men do is because it's what women like. Like women, we grow up being told by females that if we're nice guys and we do this and we do that, that's how you get a woman. But then later in life, we find out that's how you get used. So I feel that the reason that she did that was because it helped push the narrative of the Me Too movement and the attack on men. And she did it because they used her because they can't come back on the network because she's black. So no one can say it was racist towards the network.
I
But-
agree with you,
Yep,
Kyle.
that is correct. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. A lot of people have said that. And that's why earlier I had made the comment that if you notice, whenever it comes to something with us as black men and they want to tear us down, they use a black woman to do it, to avoid that very thing Kyle said.
But well, it comes back down to the whole, like, it comes down to, like, that's why, like, when you were watching the thing about I forget her name, Ali's wife, she said that feminism was made to destroy the civil rights movement. Like that's true. Like, the way that you destroy a society is through the women.
So
I was in
I
a
do
barber
wanna-
shop today, and they said the exact same fucking thing.
And I tell you something else too. Her and Muhammad Ali aren't the only ones who said that. Shahrazad Ali used to go around the country making those speeches for the same thing and presenting facts and numbers.
That's why I said it earlier. It's more of a man woman thing, because the way, okay, so if you don't have a father in the house, it puts the children in a greater probability of being poor. All right, men give up their wealth for women. That's the trade that we do. Is
For
so
femininity.
correct. So if you emasculate the women and demasculate the men, you're not going to be able to build strong groups of family networks. And that's what loses, that right there loses knowledge, it loses success, and it makes us subservient.
Without that basic fundamental equation, it allows us all to be independent. And if you look to different cultures, like if you look to the Japanese culture right now, and you look at their, they have the highest, the fastest decreasing birth rate in the free world. But they're also a culture that has invented tentacle porn, right? Like, so like they have invented things, and they have come up with an idea on how sexuality is, which is different than how we define femininity and masculinity. And a component of how they've gotten away from that will show why the birth rate is declining as fast as what it is. Now, guys, listen, we've been on this shit for 3 hours and 40 minutes, so we gotta conclude right now. So listen, I'm gonna conclude the best way that I know how. I'm gonna go around the table real quick. Shaq, final statements before we get out of here, bro.
Yeah. So actually, I agree with a lot of what Kyle is saying. I've been saying that in the chat before coming on to the stream, that I personally don't like. It actually took me a while, but MTR, you're actually the person, which I want to thank you, who kind of got me away from, I guess, just one type of red pill. You know, red pill versus women. And I think the reason why is because when you brought in Amber, I remember I posted in the comment section that she was throwing out a lot of great points that I noticed for like an hour or two, no one was really debating her on. And it was a lot of people were deflecting it. And what that made me realize was the fact that a lot of things she was saying was correct. And it's similar to what Kyle is saying, where, you know, it's easier to push the men versus woman narrative. But then who has the real power behind all of that? Like Amber said, it's some of the men at the very top who are allowing this shit to even happen, to affect all of us down here. You know, like I remember even with like the celebrities and stuff like that. If red pill, I mean, these things that we're mentioning aren't like crazy. You know, they're pretty easy to see, right? But the fact that we see all these celebrities, we see all these people of high power, not even mentioning any of this stuff. They're just ignoring it, like it's not even happening. That kind of shows to me that there's something that we are missing as men and women. And red pill is similar to the Matrix. Red pill and blue pill is what is needed to actually come to the actual truth, just like in the movie. And so it's the same thing with politics, where the Democrats, based on what I've seen, they're the ones who push the whole racist narrative the most, right? And that's just what I've seen. I'm not gonna say that is a fact or not, but that's what I've seen. And that divides us even more. And so with everything else, it seems as though there's always just people trying to divide us instead of actually having a conversation where we can see who the real enemy is. And I don't know who the real enemy is, but thanks to you, MTR, I realized that I don't think it's just a man versus woman thing. I don't think it's just women who are causing a lot of these issues that men are having. And I don't think it's just Democrats and Republicans. I think we need to have a conversation. That's basically what I've been saying this entire time.
Listen, and I appreciate your summation of that. You know what I'm saying? Because for a great example based on what you just said is in an understanding that perhaps women are not to blame for the alimony problem that we have in our society, and a lot of dudes are probably jumping up in their seats right now when I say that. But I think a large that large problem has to deal with lawyers, and they're grabbed for money. They're grabbed for money that allows that to happen, because you have a situation and the lawyer is fueling that, and they are fueling that in a way that proliferates the money in their pocket. So it's sometimes maybe it's just not a conversation of man versus woman, but there might be other things within that are predicated on that conversation moving forward.
And there's always the male judges as well. I remember you mentioned judges. Some of the judges are male, and they're still siding with the women. And there's more power above the judges. You know what I mean? So it makes me, I'm a person who likes to think, and I think a little too much, but I just constantly think. And you kind of noticed with a lot of your videos when I'll post in your comment section where I'll try to have a devil's advocate. I try to always see things from both perspectives and put myself in the shoes of others. And when I start seeing certain things, I'm like, certain things aren't adding up. And so that's all I really have to say.
All right. So Lawrence Guy, anything to say before we get out of here, bro?
As far as it goes for what you guys were just talking about with alimony and child support, taken from somebody who's been there, it's more than what you think it is, and it's not as simple as what you say. But that's a topic for another day, because it would be too long.
All right, we need to have an alimony discussion, and then Lawrence, we're gonna invite you back on. I feel like you have stories to tell us in a way that you only know how. But I appreciate your contributions of tonight, bro. For real on some shit. You are invited back anytime, my G. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Salute. Jay Smith, anything to say before we get out of here, bro?
Yeah, bro. Just to all the fellas in the chats, man, I just want to say, get yourself together, man. Get yourself in order. You could take in all the red pill content that you want, but if you haven't mastered yourself, if you don't know who you are, you have no business trying to lead a woman.
Facts.
Get your shit together.
Facts.
And if a woman doesn't comply, then let her ass go. That's it, man. You don't have to deal with the shit that is going on out here, because you set the standard. You're supposed to be the goddamn man. You're supposed to be the leader. The woman has no business leading you.
Facts.
And
unadulterated.
And I know a lot of women won't like that, but it is what it is.
It's not that we won't like that. We 100%. Who's that? Jay Smith. Yeah. We agree with you. We don't want to lead. We want y'all to get y'all shit together. Trust me.
And I know from a fact they don't want to lead.
I'm with you. Lead.
Yeah. Now Anthony says $2 super chat. Do black women want to see black men fail?
Anthony.
Go ahead, talk to him.
Anthony.
Go ahead, talk to him.
Let me get up close.
Oh, don't get up close. They're gonna get erections. Relax. Wow. Go ahead. Get Anthony, up close. Get up close.
We want to see you succeed in more ways than you could ever imagine.
Nope.
We want to see you as black men. Kyle, shout out to. We want to see you as men. Kyle, I got you in there. Let me group you in there. We want to see you men succeed more than you could ever imagine. We want you to take the time to heal, to learn, to understand, to master your craft, to lead. Lead.
Yeah, you know what? And speaking on behalf of men, I thank you for that. But we also have to keep it real that at the end of the day, a lot of women want us to lead, but they want us to lead their way, not the way it's supposed to be. So.
Well,
this she ain't for you, Lawrence.
Be their way.
That's not not yours, Lawrence.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. But I'm just keeping it real. They, talk is cheap. But when a man comes in and he's ready for you and he's ready to do what he got to do, you don't want it because it ain't done your way. That
She
does
doesn't
happen.
want it. She's not for you.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so listen, because we got to get out of here. Kyle, my G, listen, final words, any conclusions? Kyle, you're making me seasick. What was going on? I was upside down. I was
putting my phone's been dying, so I've been plugging it in, charging it as I've been not been talked to.
Got it, bro. All right. So any final statements, anything that you want to say? How do you want to conclude?
I just want to conclude that at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff goes back to just taking apart society and breaking it down. And regardless if you believe in the Bible or not, it says that God is over man, man is over woman, and woman is over children. Mm-hmm. When you do not have that positioning, your life is chaos. Like, feelings are whimsical and feelings are not what you need. And a lot of the time that when it comes to the whole narrative with men and women always want to give women the benefit of the doubt. And society, men and women, always look at men and assume that they're guilty. And like that, and that's proven with the Kobe thing. Like, the laws were changed to make his thing a crime, even though he wasn't convicted. And the man dies, and before they put dirt on him, you have another woman that's there trying to throw other dirt before he's actually been put on the ground. Like, people don't realize the sacrifices that men do or how involved men are in our society. And if it wasn't for men, the way that we live just would just not be the way it is. And we have to have more respect for men and more respect for feminine women.
Yep.
And it's a lot of our fault because we allow these bad behaviors to be okay.
This is true.
We give attention to women that do things that aren't good, and men get attention for doing.
Did we lose him?
No, it kicked me back to backstage.
Okay.
Kyle, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Sorry, I was trying to put you on the front. I messed something up.
But
but at the end of the day, it comes down to accountability. And if people are unwilling to take accountability, then nothing's going to change. And it's just that simple. Like, it doesn't matter who did what 10 years ago. It does. Like, if you're in a relationship and you do something wrong and your girlfriend or wife tells you about it for the next 10 years, you're never moving forward. And that's with any relationship. Either you're going to forgive and forget to move forward, or you're not. It's that simple. Like, we need to start coming together as people, and we need to start seeing the crap that's being pushed between the sexes. Women need us just as much as we need them.
Exactly.
And there needs to be a mutual respect between the two.
Yo, Kyle's preaching right now.
But I tell you this much real quick though.
Facts.
I'll tell you this real quick though. That last statement of Kyle about needing each other and having to get it together is without doubt facts. But before we can go any further, for every time as men we're supposed to step up and get it together and accept responsibility, we got to get women to start accepting accountability for their actions.
Facts.
It cannot be a one-way street. Okay, if you tell us that we got to be strong and stand in our truth and our responsibilities, you got to give us the same. That's just all there is to it.
All right,
because without it, it'll be just like Des said. She ain't for you. Bye.
So guys, listen. I honestly I can go another 4 hours, but Des looks as if
I'm alive.
She's took sleepy time pill earlier, and we got to figure out the next stages of the night. Salute to the panelists. Thank you all. Let me circle out just to make sure everyone sees. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Just stay back just real quick. We can all have a conversation after this. Everybody that's down into the chat right now, all 100 of y'all, thank you for coming through and having a clear, coherent, and consistent conversation. Wholeheartedly appreciate y'all. Listen, tomorrow the plan is to live stream tomorrow as well. Come through. I don't know what time it's gonna be at, but put your phone onto the alert onto this channel. So when I do go live, you get the fucking alert and y'all can come through.
And click that like button before you go.
Hit that like button before you go. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that because it should be over 150 to 200 likes in this shit. At least. You know, I don't know what it's at right now, but it should at least be in that, okay?
It looks like 120.
One last thing.
Go ahead. What's up, bro?
Everyone that's in this should go to YouTube and look up a documentary called The Red Pill.
Oh, I got it.
Feminist journey through the men's rights movement.
Yeah, I got it. I've seen it.
I've actually seen that movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. And there's a couple of others too, but yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Yo, yeah. All right, so go check that out, and maybe we could do a whole conversation based off of that. You know, because I've been hearing that as well. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all of y'all for y'all thoughts, and this is the reason why I do this shit is because we got to bubble up these conversations in a way that we can come and understand each point and then challenge it based off that point in order to push some of these solutions forward. So I appreciate the diversity of the perspectives because it wouldn't be the Red Cup talk and if we did not have the diversity of the perspectives. So I appreciate y'all. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Yeah, there it is. Video stories and reviews at gmail.com. Until next time, YouTube. Peace. Slap that motherfucker. Slap that. Kyle, slap that motherfucker. Slap that. Bow. 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 Lawrence, one more time. Slap that mother. Bow. 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 Here we go. One more time. Bow, motherfuckers. We fucking out of here. Salud and peace. Shit.